We really do have a great episode planned for today and some exciting things happening.
We could all die.
First of all, we're going to go around the table and just do a quick introduction, beginning with Miss Chyna Bigly.
Okay, sweet. You introduced me. Thanks, babe.
Speaking to your mic and introduce yourself. Or so I can test your audio, or you won't get hurt tonight. So that's the idea.
Happy stream time. Hi, I'm Steph. I play Chyna Bigly the Bard.
Hello, I'm Meg. I play Tamasin, the Cleric.
Good evening, all. My name is Twain, and I play Faerun, who is a wood elf monk.
Good evening, I am Brandon, and I play the Wild Magic Sorcerer, Ranquess. No T.
Hi, stream. I'm Jones. I play Merkesh. He's a fighter.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm your DM this evening. My name is Brad, a.k.a. Sham Basil. And like I said, I'm really pumped to kick into an awesome session tonight. We had a little bit of a hang-up in the beginning, so I'm not going to blab for too long. We're going to get right into the game. But I do have a quick announcement that I do want to make. This Saturday at 7 o'clock a.m., I'm going to be joining Will and the team at Encounter Roleplay to kick off a 12-hour marathon to help support the launch of their 5e D&D module titled Breath of Gore. So please jump in and check us out on Encounter Roleplay at 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time this Saturday, 2 days from now. We're going to be running the first session in that series, and I'm really excited to play with the guys. I think he's got a good group assembled, so I'm looking forward to that. So please check us out, and I'll have some tweets to go out. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at Shambazil Games for all the updates and the goods on everything channel related. So that's it. You guys have been really patient. Don't want to make you wait anymore. So we're going to jump right into a recap
Bum bum.
with music.
Law and order noise.
Right, yeah.
Bum, bum.
Chung chung.
I need my ambiance. You guys know me. I need my musics.
I really like that.
There you go.
Ambiance.
My
Yes.
ambiance.
It's a lovely Chateau Neuf de Pape.
As we dive into tonight's episode of Charisma Check. And this is where we'd have a really cool, like, live-action filmed intro play, but we don't. Because we're on a college
LARP
budget.
yet.
No, not necessarily.
We don't
but
LARP yet.
We don't.
We
So,
haven't jumped that far down the hole.
eventually,
I mean, like,
That's
perhaps.
not LARPing if you're just acting in a video. It's
Fully dressed up, going out to a park to live film it.
That's LARPing.
No,
no,
that's
not if
filming.
you have,
That's
if you
just
have lights
yeah.
and film.
I think it sounds like fun.
Me too. I would do it.
All right, so
But I don't want to make scale mail, so it's not happening.
Hang on. Megan chainmail.
there you go. Let that sink in for a little bit.
Okay, we're
That's
good.
worth a break.
We're good.
That's worth a break. That's what caused our original technical difficulties.
stay
the
tuned
heat from
for the-
this
I do
side
have
of the
that effect
table
on it.
and the heat from the computer all combining to fuck us over.
Stay
No.
tuned for the after show, kids.
So just tone down the hotness, y'all. If you can, just tone it down a little
Natural hotness
Yeah.
level.
Can't fight
20 all
it.
the
Can't stop.
time.
Won't stop. Guys, on the last session, after finding their way...
LARP is live action role playing.
They managed
We're
to
not doing
survive a cataclysmic fall into the Underdark when a massive sinkhole erupted and swallowed everyone and everything for about 2 miles around the Tailspinners Jamboree,
lot of people.
cascading them deep, plunging them deep into the depths below. Chyna was notably missing. The rest of the team managed to save some of the innocents who remained behind. And after equipping one of them, an industrious young half-orc boy with a dagger, Merkesh instructed him to stay behind and guard the remaining survivors while the rest of the team went to look for their companion, our bard, Chyna Bigly. What ensued was a massive battle in the lair of Chyna's anti-hero, Mardak, the Svirfneblin, or Deep Gnome. It was a particularly furious battle, and in the end, the team emerged victorious, but they decided not to pursue Mardak at that time, but rather head back and check on the survivors. Unfortunately, the survivors were found to be missing. A dead drow body lay in the silt below, with the dagger that Merkesh had equipped the young orcish boy with plunged deep into his chest. And a couple of other bodies of creatures that they haven't seen before, these black, rubbery, squid-like creatures with tentacles and talons that were smeared with blood and white hair, presumably from drow. They decided to turn and head back deeper into the Underdark to look for clues. And at this time, they were met on either side of a bridge across a long, dark chasm that we can see before us here. And they've been fronted by a female drow figure enshrouded in dark robes that they had seen as a cohort to Mardak in the battle before. And before our last session ended, she spoke in a commanding but hissed tone. You will come with me now. I will guide you. We have much to discuss. And that's where we will jump back in to our episode tonight of Charisma Check. She peers at you across the long, dark resonance of the chasm. On either side, a deathly plunge into the depths below, further than you already stand. The bridge that spans this chasm is broken stone, this dark black purple, and again, no other sound, just the deathly silent and the arid, dry air in here. There's no other flora that you can see in the cavern, but she's flanked by 2 well-armed drow and 2 other drow clad in leather wraps, brandishing daggers. And just before we ended, 2 other figures emerged behind you, presumably some other drow that they have positioned to flank. They don't seem aggressive to you at the moment. They are just looking to the female for instruction as she stands expectantly on the other side of the bridge.
Well, it seemingly, in a low tone, so I'm not communicating to the drow across the chasm. We seem to be outnumbered. Maybe we should go with them.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Well,
So
I personally can't handle another fight.
I'm saying
right now.
don't offer too much resistance, but stay ready.
Lead the way.
And then
Did someone tell them that?
Yeah.
I look at the guards that are behind us that have appeared out of there. Do they appear to be like threatening in some way?
They're the 2 well-armed ones in black scale mail. If there was any light beyond Saloon's radiance from Tamasin's holy symbol, seem to be glinting with this. It almost is soaking light in. The other 2 are just holding their daggers at the ready. The armor-clad ones have their hands on the hilts of their sword. They haven't drawn them, but they're just standing behind you, kind of closing off the passage to the rear that you entered from. As you begin to make your way across
after the
chasm.
brief exchange with the party about us not offering too much resistance, I begin to make my way across.
Okay. As you begin to cross the chasm, the stone bridge feels pretty stable, but in the center, it's barely wide enough for you to cross 2 by 2. Your feet come dangerously close to the edge, kicking rock off into the chasm below. It must extend at least 60 feet. But carefully and with some time and investment, you manage to make your way across the trepidatious reach to the other side. You now get a better glance of the female drow. She's pulled her hood back. She has a top knot that's tightly wound and long flowing white hair that spills around her shoulders. You can see now that the drow that are bearing this scale mail have an emblem in the center. It's a web pattern with a drop of water in the center, and you notice that it mirrors an emblem that is placed on the center of the circlet that this younger drow female is wearing. Haughtily, she turns tail, and she doesn't have a tail, and begins to lead the progression into the darkness through a thin tunnel beyond.
She just cloak flap me?
She did.
The rest of the drow
definitely a
surround you. Again, they just seem to be acknowledging and waiting for a call from their leader, with their hands on their weapons at the ready.
I'm gonna follow her.
All right.
Okay.
And make it clear that even though these 2 guards are here, like I'm paying them no mind.
As you continue down through, it is pitch dark. Even the light from Saloon is beginning to wane in here, and you feel again that thin, very tensile grip on your connection with your goddess, but it seems like it's going through miles and miles of static. Even your dark vision becomes cloudy and tunnel-like down here. And I'll get everyone to roll a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Which dice is gonna fail me first tonight? I choose you.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That was terrible.
17.
17.
16. That's not bad.
Fine.
14.
4.
14
16.
and 16. Perfect.
And plus 7 to wisdom saving.
As you continue to make your way through the darkness, they shift and change from their alignment where they're standing, just as you manage to make your way through these dark chasms. Become very labyrinth-like. The drow seem intent. They seem to know where they're going. But as best you can tell, you are absolutely lost. There's no way to get an idea of where you've come from, where you're going. All you know is it's getting darker. The air remains arid and deathly still. Every now and then you see a green glow high up on a chasm shelving where you see that familiar fauna that you had seen, this glowing green moss. But otherwise, it's sticks, dead, dry brambles on the ground, this ash and silt that seems to cover the area most of this region. And then, fine, you begin to hear whispers calling to you from the side. And there's a pathway. As you look down the pathway, you see glowing eyes begin to appear. Red eyes and teeth bared. Come with us. We will save you, save you, save you, save you. Tamasin and Chyna, roll a perception check.
$17.
17.
Okay. You notice that momentarily Fine, just a few steps away from you, has stopped and has turned and is looking dead ahead, straight into a rock wall.
Faerun.
What are you doing?
I go up and tap him. I go in and tap him. Actually, no.
You see the eyes as well, yes?
Sorry.
The eyes, the red
No.
eyes.
All right, I slap him across
No,
the face.
I don't see anything. There's nothing
I
there.
slap him across the. Well,
One of them reaches out
I-
with
I
two
slap him on the
long
butt because I can't reach
limbs,
his face.
claws at the end, snapping towards you and reaches for you, swinging out of the darkness for a 20.
That will hit, yes.
As it reaches and grabs you and strikes you,
We have a problem.
Do we have any idea? Can we see any of this happening? What do we see happening?
you see Fine react to a vicious strike
Okay.
coming from the darkness. What do you do, Fine?
Did he take damage?
I am surprised. So then I will attempt to strike back.
Okay, roll an attack.
What up, Monkster?
What? Faerun, what?
What's happening?
That's 17 to
Can you see
hit.
anything?
17.
Yes.
Fine grabs you,
Yeah, me?
Chyna.
Oh, jeez.
Grabs your hand
Uh-huh.
and looks
Fine.
at it.
Hey.
Squeezes.
Faerun, ow! You're hurting me.
Fine, roll a wisdom
You're
saving
you're
throw.
hurting
Okay,
me.
that's a problem now.
Let go of my hand.
That's a 12.
It's a 12.
Faerun,
Immediately the image
please let go.
shapes and dissipates and you see Chyna and you're holding her hand and wringing it. The
Please let
wrist
go.
becoming marked and bruised
Please.
with the strength of your
I'm
grip.
so sorry.
What?
What?
Why
What
did
is
you
the
do it?
meaning of this? We don't have all day to tarry. We must press forward.
Yes, we're coming forward. Of course.
She steps back and
Sorry.
walks back
I
into the
know.
line. And she
Well,
looks at you
I mean,
fine. She
feel like
says,
my hand might be a little broken.
"See
but
something
it's all right.
interesting there,
I
darling."
can still play an instrument.
Maybe.
No
I
matter.
don't know what I saw.
Fall back in line. We still have much ground to traverse. Onward. And she moves to the front and begins to walk forward.
Are you all right now?
I
Ryan?
believe so.
Now, I'm
I didn't think anything was
pursuing
wrong
this person.
before.
Did I hear
Well-
any of what's going
Well,
on here?
you started.
You would have noticed
you
when
grabbed
everybody
my hand
turned
and
around to
started
stop. You saw,
squeezing
you
it
both would
to
have seen
breaking
Fine
point, so-
grabbing Chyna by the wrist and Chyna protesting
So,
vehemently.
I'm going to
before this
walk back
exchange.
very briefly and just clasp my hand on Fine's shoulder, like, right by his neck,
Mm-hmm.
and just give him a little boost so he's walking up with me and not next to the ladies.
Thank you. I mean, I
What-
trust
and,
you,
and I
Fine,
ask him,
but
like,
No.
what are you doing?
That wasn't her.
What did you see?
I saw what looked like the spiders we fought earlier.
Okay, well, stick close to me, I'll pay attention, and we'll be all right.
I'm just really weak. Maybe I was hallucinating
One
something.
too many saving throws with the death.
Yeah, I could use a long rest as soon as we can, people.
As the rest of you make your way, after kind of settling from the recent occurrence, you continue your way through narrow passageways and open domes, vaulting caverns, and small divides where you have to crouch low enough and come through single file. All the while, the drow female is gauging you very carefully. She allows herself to get ahead, fall back at times, slinking in and out of the shadows, carefully surveying the group. And at a moment, she falls back to you, Chyna. She begins to walk side by side with you.
Yes.
That woman you summoned in Mardak's hovel, what is she to you?
Nothing. It's what she is to him.
You drew an image of a gnome like yourself.
I just drew an image of a gnome. Of course it looked like me. I love myself.
She is familiar to you, and familiar to him, then.
Well, definitely to him.
From whence did you draw this memory?
Oh, it's not a memory.
Oh, no?
No, of course not.
You've not seen her before.
Well, I mean, in my mind, it's like how you create people. Like, you want them, like an image of yourself. Like, oh, I wish I looked like that.
Roll a persuasion check.
Persuasion is based on charisma.
15.
That's a charisma check.
So she was familiar to him as well.
Well, I mean, you know how he feels about me. So I just figured if there was almost like two of me,
I do know how he feels about you.
Yes,
I know how he feels about your image.
exactly.
I imagine I know how you feel about this gnome woman.
I don't think so.
And she leans in close to you as you walk. And she whispers in your ear.
Oh, I'm getting.
Oh, the
actual
first
whisper.
actual whisper.
Don't listen.
And she steps away, her steely glare looking forward into the darkness, and she makes her way back to the front of the group. And for the next hour, perhaps, half hour, you find yourselves getting very drowsy now. Hunger is taking hold. You have no sense of time or day, the passage of hours in this place, in this rich darkness, but your bodies are telling you that it is long past time to rest. The hunger begins to grow. You become weakened. And for the rest of that hour, you have time to converse. If there's anything you want to cover.
Oh,
What would you like to do for about that
Chyna.
30 to 45 minutes of more travel time?
I'm going to reach into my pouch
Yes.
and pull out your hover pin. Oh, I found this.
Thank you. I thought I'd
you
lost
probably
that.
would like it back.
Yes, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. I would definitely take that.
Also, just so you know,
Yes.
I'm not mad at you for not telling us.
Thank you.
While this is going on in this hour, we're still moving, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to remove a piece of chalk from my Dungeoneer's Pass and start, finding places to leave marks on. It's dark, so they wouldn't see the chalk in the dark, right?
I'm
Yeah.
going.
Roll a sleight of hand. Yep.
I'm going to hum a small tune for 10 minutes
works.
and inspire my teammates and give them all 7 temporary hit points.
I'm sorry?
It would be
10 minutes of
15?
singing.
That's right.
You managed to get a couple of nicks on
Right,
stones as you go by.
Just in case something
You managed
gets
to
That's
reach
correct.
down, check the silt,
Between
make
now
a
and
nick
sleeping.
deftly without anyone really noticing for about 30 to 40 feet as you continue on the traverse. Chyna, as soon as you open your mouth to start humming, you feel cold steel against your back. And a push forward which interrupts. None of that.
What? I just like.
You'll keep quiet.
Oh, well, that's very hard for me
You'll
to
keep
do.
quiet.
Just do as the nice drum. Yes, all right.
Anyone else?
I can do your favorite tune.
The progression stops, and the drow turns around. Do we have a problem?
No, she's fine. Yes.
I expect the rest of this journey to continue in silence.
Seriously, I don't have any instruments.
Can I check to
Onwards.
see if I notice Merkesh with his chalk?
Yeah, roll a... Actually,
Some of the back.
what's your passive perception?
passive perception?
not
12.
15.
12? So you wouldn't have noticed walking by as Merkesh. Roll a perception check, though, because you notice that he's at least... Seems to be playing with the ground a lot.
Still kidnapped.
Seems to be stopping and
Only
moving.
a 12.
Okay. But seems odd. See, just something kind of strikes you about it. His movement catches your eye, but you can't exactly tell what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't do anything.
I'm trying to be cool about it.
If I had caught what you were doing, I might have tried to find some way to help, but
No.
you're on your own.
My spidey sense is so tingly.
Mage hand
I
high
have
five.
spidey sense.
If
It would be
who's
tingly.
And as the
Agent Chop?
sorry,
no,
what?
she's
drag it
closest
behind
to me
us.
right now, right?
I am directly.
Yes, she is.
As
Yeah.
per normal
I'm
marching
just
order.
going to whisper, tap her, and just say like, "This drow is not who she seems. I think she knows things.
So you're saying we should be careful.
Very cautious.
All right. Should I pass that on?
You may, if you'd like to, later when we have time."
Why do I get the feeling these only
Roll
reason the
a
drow are here
sleight
is
of
because
hand
the
check
blacksmith told them to
with
come here?
advantage.
Sleight of hand.
Yep. Actually, stealth. Sorry, roll a stealth check with advantage.
Oh, okay. That's a natural 20.
Okay.
So I
You managed
plus
to
5
have this
would be
exchange without anyone
25.
noticing at all.
Like,
she just climbed
While-
up Tamasin.
While
and
at the
just
back
slapped my dad.
Yep.
with these guards, then I'm just gonna try and make casual conversation because why not? So I just turn to one of the guards and go, come here often?
They have none of it. And they just prod you in the back. And they say, "Enough talk. Did you not get the message?"
Oh no, we're at the back
And they
of
push
the
you
line.
for it every time. Every time you open your mouth, they push you again. So.
I'm gonna name you Shovey.
Oh my god.
He raises his hand with a ironclad gauntlet. Next
High
time
five.
I'll follow through.
I swear to God.
do we hear this happening behind us?
I mean,
I
I'm at
started
the front.
laughing at him, so yes, I keep moving with the party, but yes, I just laugh at his
Okay.
Ranquess, just
attempt.
He's getting frustrated with you, and he
Cool.
smacks you in the
Go
back
once.
with the hilt of his sword for.
It just knocks you out. I'm killing you. I'm just letting you die.
No, I was back up to full health.
Oh, that's right.
I
you
only
were.
I only lost one.
I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
3 damage. As the hilt strikes you. Hard in the spine. Not too hard, but enough to skip your step a little bit.
I'll remember
Front
that.
doesn't seem to notice. And as you make your way through the tight, dark narrows, your ears adjust to the increasing depth and pressure with a pop.
Yours are popping 'cause you're
Almost
going
on
lower.
cue, you emerge into a sturdy rock overhang that delivers an awesome vista that you've only heard about in tales. The immense rocky cavern vaults for hundreds of feet before and outward into a sharp, jagged dome of low-hanging structures. The sound of running water now resonates around you for the first time since leaving the surface world behind in Ulash. A winding, rough staircase has been fashioned from the black-purple stone of the Underdark and winds in treacherous angles downward toward the floor of the cavern, where you can make out the implements of a drow colony. From this height, the commune is lit only by occasional globes of soft, glowing light in one quarter of the area, where you can barely make out shapes moving back and forth in the blackness down below. The sound of a charging waterfall echoes from beyond the far side of the cave, but it's far too dark and distant to determine its origin. As your eyes scan back over the vaulting stone cavern top, you swear you see movement and occasional sounds of skittering amongst the stalactites that hang down from the ceiling. The drow woman and her crew belie a moment of nervous caution as they look over the cavern roof. But the moment is gone almost as quickly as it comes, and they urge you onward down the treacherous stairway as you slip and kick rocks down, making your way through the long descent. And at this point, I'll get you to clear the map. We can pull all the minis. And I think we'll take that one off too. Actually, we'll go down to the bottom, Pat. Sorry, you can take all the... I just realized it's the... Yeah, so take everything that's not... Yeah, there you go. This is the location map. So,
Whoa.
Welcome to the Underdark.
Holy doodle.
and we'll put our... We don't need the rest of the items. We can put the team right here. At the top. There you go.
No, Tamasin.
So this is the vista that you see as you crest out and open into into this vast scape.
Yes.
Sorry, microphone.
For a moment,
Sorry, Mike.
when sorry, I'll wait for you to come back. Thank you.
We're back.
For a moment, as the drow escorts make their way down the stairs as they've done it hundreds of times before, far more deftly than most of you, you stumble in the darkness behind, even the soft glow from your holy symbol barely illuminating your steps for steps for steps, as you make your way far down below to the ground at the bottom. For an instant, the drow female turns around and looks at you knowingly. A small grin touches her mouth, and she says, "Welcome to Sidiahona Commune. You are our guests here, and we will begin at the family estate. Follow me." She begins to escort you through a sullen, dank area. The ground here is made of muck and mire that's been formed from the dampness that exists, the odd dampness and the amount of water that exists in this area, forming the slick muck base of the silt and ash that you've become accustomed to since your time arriving in the Underdark. There are swaths of broken-looking individuals from every race, gender, and ilk that you can think of. You have to fight your way through the crowds, but as the drow woman and her escorts appear, a channel is carved almost intuitively through these unfortunate souls who are being forced to work in this labor encampment at the bottom level. They are carrying everything from bags of goods to large barrels rolling through the muck, sloshing sounds, to laying rails that lead off in odd angles in the cavern. And now as you get closer, you see this charging grand waterfall diving from hundreds of feet up into a pool area, and the slow ratcheting of a large, giant large wooden wheel slowly reels into a makeshift shelter. As you walk through, she takes you to a grand staircase that launches upward into a third high level. As you make your way to the top, you see polished black purple stone and two vaulting buildings made of pure obsidian, no windows. The darkness again begins to consume this area as she escorts you towards a large portcullis made of pure black iron, nothing but darkness behind. Without a word uttered, the gates lift at her approach. And two large black iron-bound doors open inward into a grand chamber as she ushers you in.
I think we're going in here. Getting that feeling. Yes.
The receiving room of the Sidiahona estate is a round 60-foot in diameter chamber walled with dark wooden planks that go straight up and down. They vault upwards into a point, creating a dome 30 feet above. An intricate chandelier of amethyst and onyx crowns the room and sheds a very dim, almost glowing radiance into this area. It's barely enough to cast shadows and shapes around the room, as you can see. After a few moments, a stately, white-haired, tall drow male enters the room. He is deathly silent, and his face is fixed in a disconcerting frown. He's immediately followed by two large figures clad from head to toe in pitch-dark plate armor, with the crest of a web inset with a water drop on the chest plate. Their faces are completely obscured by the guard of their great helms, and the shifting of metal plate on mail is the only sound the trio make as they take control of the room. The figure peruses you for a moment, judges you coldly, and then turns and takes his seat in an ebony, high-backed throne of carved onyx with two fly-out tables by the sides. In a hissing, low voice, the patron of the commune addresses you. Linthir has told me much of your exploits here in the Underdark. If I am to understand correctly, you have not only broken the Swiftneblin Marduk, but you have done so quite handily. Is this correct? Speak!
Yes.
Seems accurate.
He seems so upset. We heard him.
Chyna, just answer the questions. Stick to just the answers. Yeah, we killed a gnome. We almost killed a gnome.
He's not dead.
My lord, the drow female walks up and takes a station to the right of the superior. They have absolutely proven themselves to be quite adept in battle. And they have also proven themselves to be quite an issue for us, it seems. That is correct as well. What you may not realize, surface dwellers, is that in breaking the gnome, the Cretan, and his band of raiders, you have also cost us a valuable agreement that was to secure the safety and success of our business here in Sidiona. As I see it, that puts you now under the guise of that agreement and responsible for our security here as well.
There's only one small problem with that. You took some people that had fallen from the sinkhole, and we want them returned. Especially a half-orc boy.
Are you referring to a host of slaves?
We may honor your agreement, but we want them brought to us. And they are not slaves. They are free men and women and children.
My boy. I will take your ignorance as such and use this moment to educate you. Down here, our slaves are the highest currency. We have many. They come, they go. To suggest that the ones you refer to are here is not something I can confirm or deny. But you speak of slaves. You seem to forget that you are in no position to negotiate. You will see
thought
this
that's
charge.
exactly what this was.
I'm just gonna look around at the people surrounding me. Well, considering how you need us to honor some sort of agreement you had with some gnomes, I think we're in the exact position we need to be in to bargain.
Well, you can either take up this charge and I will explain to you the details, or you can wander the Underdark until death or insanity finds you.
What type of deal did you have with them?
The Sir Neblin and his band were responsible for paying tribute to a red herring of ours. A beast that has recently made her home in proximity to the commune that is both uncomfortable and inconvenient for us.
That's a shame, isn't it?
Pardon me.
I said that's a shame, isn't it?
And you're looking for us to remove this beast for you?
You disposed of our existing contractor, therefore you assume the contract. How you handle the issue is
now,
up to you.
Speaking of this contract repeatedly, would you happen to have a copy of it available?
Linther. He
I'm
regards
sorry.
the drow at his side.
But I
She
believe
stops.
he brought us down here. Wouldn't he be the one who broke the contract, not us?
He looks to Lynthia. Lynthia looks at him and back to you. Our business with the drow was to assist him in collecting a prize. He has done us a service
You mean-
for a number of years.
You,
The
gnome.
Mardak? You the gnome?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just
The prize.
confirming.
Yes.
It's just too cumbersome to say Swiftneblin every time. The Cretan. The vile creature. Whichever you prefer. We were proposed to assist him in gathering this prize. I think we all know what that prize was. But
So you
this
struck
was
a deal with the gnome, is what you're saying.
This was an addendum to an existing agreement.
Well, then I ask you, the agreement's changed. What's now in it for us? What will you do for us if we succeed in our task?
Not just willingly helping
The
someone who
patron
makes
raises
you
his
mad.
hand as 2 guards flex in their armor. Your prize will be an escort out of the Underdark, back to your homes and away from mine.
With the 5 survivors that were taken. Bargained well and done.
I will not barter for slaves. They are our property. They are not on the table in this case. What is on the table is your terms of service, the amount of time you will protect this colony, as Mardak had. If he was adept at anything, it was raiding the surface.
Mardak
He
was
would-
adept at nothing.
Well, if you think you can do better, Yoran, then I look forward to seeing it.
I'm not working with anyone who worked with Mardak.
Lynthia leans in close to his ear and whispers something. Well, perhaps we do have another bargaining chip that might be of interest to you. Send in Kahil. One of the guards leaves his side, opens the door, looks back, ducks his head into the darkness. And from the room behind him emerges another drow, much older this one, wrapped in elegant robes. Again, the white hair, his a little bit more matted, a little more thin, but there is definitely an air of authority to him, and even the soldiers seem to give him more cause than you've seen them give the patron so far. He has his hair is shaved. Sorry, it's not matted. His hair is shaved short just enough to create a thick white cap of hair around his skull. And he has a long, narrow beard that's knotted in a few places as it ends near his stomach. His ears are covered in silver piercings and small chains. And he seems to embody the Spider Queen's blessing. This is Kahil. But you only have a moment to take in his immediate splendor, as your attention is drawn by the sound of shuffling and chains. As Kahil enters, takes a step to the right, and behind him enters a small figure with frayed, thinning blonde hair matted to her face, cascading over wrinkles, dry, cracked skin. She wears tattered, torn burlap robes. Her hands dangle by. Her feet shuffle with a deathly lack of purpose. Her eyes are white and opalescent as you lay eyes on what can unmistakably be some version of your mother, Leroviel. Even despite the many years between when you last saw her and now, there's something warm in seeing her, but dreadful in seeing her in this state. As the drow executives flank her, and they look to you with cold, steely calculation. Do you recognize this gnome?
Nope.
He smiles at Lynthia. Well then, I guess we have no use for her as well. As he nods to one of the guards. The guards produces a wicked, curved
Okay, you
knife.
just wait.
Yes, little knight. Shh. The guard replaces the blade.
Just leave her alone.
Are we prepared to discuss terms then?
I looked at Chyna like with like one of those what the hell's going on looks. You're familiar with them.
You're familiar with them.
It's my mother.
Would you like to introduce her, or will I?
Thought she was dead. She was dead.
So,
She
okay.
was dead.
I guess what you need to know is that this individual is precious to your friend. Enough so, I think, to seal our outstanding agreement.
If
I
we,
still want that half-orc kid.
She comes with
he's got
us,
something
too.
of mine.
she comes with us too.
Same. I'm gonna stab a whole lot of friggin'
If you produce
Goddamn elves.
and perform amicably in your new service to this commune, you will be escorted, as promised, with this one in tow. I'm a man of my word. I care mostly for my business and for my people. And I, like you, would very much like to see you leave. For that will mean that all of our issues have been addressed.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't make business deals without a sound rest first. Allow us a night to think on this.
You will agree first, and you will be our guests until you are ready to begin.
I reach behind my head and I feel the lump and I look him dead in the eyes and say, I've seen your hospitality. We will rest first, and then we will speak in the morning.
My men will be reprimanded for their callous handling of our new associates, but I will make the decisions around this agreement. You will sign before you leave this hall, or be lost forever in the dark, and you will carry the corpse of this one with you.
So did
We
they
have to
produce
do
a
that.
copy of this contract that I asked for yet?
Now we are talking.
I'm
He
not
nods
signing
to one
anything
of the
without reading
drow.
it, but
He produces a parchment and brings it to you with a long quill. Hands it to you. Your signatures. I assume you want the terms, or do you not care?
well, I'm reading what the terms of the contract are on the contract. I'm not going to sign it without reading it. So I'm actually, when he hands me the scroll, I begin to read what the words on it say.
He stands in a commanding voice that resonates throughout the dome. You will sign this agreement
He signed it.
and take charge of the protection of our commune in place of the contractor that you have disposed of, or you will die. And so will she. And she nods, and they tighten the chains on around Luraviel's neck as she just drably shakes with the momentum.
Enough, I'll sign.
He reaches over me, scribble, scribble, scribble.
But in my scribble, then, because I do have proficiency in, like, my, in faking everything, deception, and all that.
Forgery.
then-
Forgery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
forgery, and I would
Sign.
like to sign with a T.
Okay.
So the name read is Ranquess.
Okay.
Who the hell's that?
The drow accepts your signature, moves to you, Merkesh.
I look the drow dead in the eye, and I'm like, you returning her mother to us is great. The boy that I spoke of has something that I will not leave the Underdark without.
If the boy is in our employ, we will look into it.
Fine. With that, I sign.
I despondently sign as well.
I do the same without speaking.
Excellent. Little Knight.
Wow, shall I sign Little Knight or Bigly? Which would you prefer?
Matters little. We both know the truth.
I'd like to speak to her before I sign.
Go right ahead. But you will stay where you stand.
All right, I look over to her.
Her dead, white eyes stare almost through you.
Mom. Mom, it's me,
Touching.
Chyna. You see me? I see
No
you.
response. True, she may not be as you remember,
What have you done to her?
but she is there. The darkness does strange things to those who dwell on the surface, which is why I suggest you make your service to us brief, if you care to see this agreement through to fruition.
I sign.
Excellent. He waves off the drow as the drow rolls up the parchment, slides it into an oaken container, and brings it back over to Cahill, this elegantly dressed, older individual. And he turns to Dalcran. With your leave, sire, I will continue our blessings to the Spider Queen. Dismissed, Cahill. We will confer momentarily. As the old man escorts Laruviel back through the chambers, deep into the building behind. Now then, shall we discuss the terms of your service?
Yes, sounds lovely.
If we must.
The reason we had employed the Cretan Mardak, this pest of ours, it is a black dragon. She goes by the name Witherblight. Mardak's charge was to raid the surface, as he so enjoyed doing. He would bring treasures and trinkets and things that we have no value for here in the darkness. They would deliver this to Witherblight, and in agreement, she would leave us to our business. Mardak would receive 50% of their take. The other 50 would go to Witherblight as tribute to appease her and keep her out of our affairs. The slaves, who are often the product of these raves, were remitted to us as a token of good faith and allow us to keep our business running smoothly and productively. With Mardak gone, we have no source of income for her tribute, and I assure you it is a small matter of time before she grows anxious and comes looking herself. I suggest you begin your planning with this information. Perhaps you raid yourselves, perhaps you use your various talents for violence to secure tribute for Witherblight, and I would look forward to that long partnership.
Why haven't you just killed the dragon?
The ability to kill the dragon is above what I am willing to commit to send.
Well, surely you must have made some type of preparation in case the dragon were to attack. Armaments, armor.
We have, but unfortunately our commune is too far from the far depths and the city-states of the Underdark to receive help from their governments. The service that we provide is valuable, but we are not the only one, and we are a little too far on the outreach for them to bother with our plight. The risk of tackling this issue myself would potentially eradicate my own military. And I don't know if you noticed on your way in, but there are other things that lurk in the dark. Suffering such a blow could put everything at risk, just as failing to appease Witherblight puts everything at risk. You understand now that the delicate peace we enjoyed ended when you broke the Swiftneblin and his band.
He shouldn't have taken my bard.
That is his problem now. I imagine he has worse to deal with.
So let's talk provisions.
Let's talk provisions.
Since you've obviously been preparing for an attack on this dragon, you must have armaments and armor that would leave the dragon vulnerable to their attack or protect us from the dragon's attack.
Yes, and I will need my clothes and instruments back as well.
We have some limited equipment. We have the ability to craft, repair, and build. I will correct you, however, we were not expecting a dragon attack until moments ago. However, roll a persuasion check.
I do charisma.
That's a 5. Wait, it's persuasion. Persuasion, which is good. That makes it an 8.
While you are here, and under our employ, you are guests of the commune. I will have some of my honor guard keep a close eye on you to make sure that you are comfortable. You may make your way to the middle level, the second down of the family buttress. You will find the smithy there. Tell him you are on my business, and he will equip you with what he can.
And my things?
Your things.
My things, yes. My instruments.
Am I to be expected to stock and inventory your belongings?
Well, I came down here with them, and now they're gone. So
Have
I'm
we met
assuming-
before today?
Well, one of your lady drows was with my friend Mardak, so I'm assuming she knows maybe perhaps where my things might be.
He looks to Lynthia. Lynthia looks at him and looks to you, and she just shakes her head. It appears as though you've lost your belongings, sweetheart. I do hope you find them. Anything else?
There's a small matter of food and lodging.
Yes. You will be housed in the best lodgings that the Labor March has to provide. Report to the Labor Masters in the Water Run, and they will see to it. It's the best that you can garner until you've proven yourself worthy of better.
Then our business is concluded.
My God will see you out. Do not tarry long. Witherblight will not wait. She is an impatient wretch. And he waves his hand. And he watches you steely. You can almost feel the chill from his glare as you exit the chamber out onto the main section of the family buttress. The guards escort you towards the stairs, and the gate closes behind. 2 more guards flank the walled area there. And not a stone's throw away is a shrine of some sort. And the stairs that lead far down below back to the bottom level from whence you came. What do you do?
Not go near the spider shrine.
Well, I
Go
think the
rest.
first thing he told us to do was go check in at the smithy on the 2nd level. And on our way there, we'd go to the laborers' thing to rest.
Well,
So we're going to
yes.
swing by the smithies.
Okay.
Let him know that Lord What's-His-Nuts sent us.
And I'm going to keep an eye out for all
Does
of my things.
Actually, I'm sorry. Did anyone record Lord What's-His-Nuts' name?
No.
I didn't catch it.
Okay, we're going to go with Lord What's-His-Nuts. He'll
It
know
was
what's up.
Dalcren.
Dalcrin.
Dalcren. Yeah.
Yeah, so we make our way over. Merkesh, who can only speak for myself, is on his way to the blacksmith to go find out what kind of arms or armaments they have available to combat a black dragon.
Okay.
I will follow.
I will also
Before you
follow.
make your way down the
I'm
stairs,
not
everyone
splitting
make
up.
a perception check, please.
That's natural 1.
It's a 9.
16.
12.
Fun.
6.
Ranquess, as everybody's kind of focused on navigating these thin steps down to the depths below, you catch out of the corners of your eye a flash of white high in the stalactites, but now you're on the highest level. You're close enough to see shifting. And again, this something skittering along the top. Large black movements.
There's spiders above
And then
us.
out of sight.
Spiders. Always spiders everywhere.
Down here, I feel that's what we
And as
have
you
to
look down at
expect.
your arms, you see from beneath the folds of your robe an eruption of small spiders begin to crawl out all through your fingers, completely encasing your hand in black. As they crawl up all around you.
Hold a fireball or firebolt.
You see Ranquess pull 2 hands out and
Do we see the spiders? at
ignite
all?
fire.
No.
That's it.
What are you doing? Why? What
The
do you?
2 guards.
No, wait.
Ranquess, why do you have a fireball out?
When don't I have a fireball out?
No.
Straight answer.
I saw something.
All right. This
All
is.
right.
Put it out. You're fine. Please put it out. Put it out.
You're fine.
I hurl it into the water.
Oh, it's like across the
Oh,
chasm.
it's way across. We haven't made our way anywhere near
Yeah.
it. Okay, then it's out.
I would like to look at one of the guards and
The
ask.
swords go back into their sheaths.
Now, it wasn't mentioned as part of our contract that we signed, but how do you guys weigh in on us killing spiders?
Our job is to guard the family estate. Your job is to deal with your contract.
So-
Good luck, friends.
So killing spiders is okay then. All right.
Are you okay now? What?
I think I just need some rest.
All right, I think we all need
bit of
some
that going
rest.
around.
You see them too? Spiders. They're everywhere down here.
I haven't seen any other than
We
once
need to
thought.
sleep. Sleep is what we all
Yeah.
need.
Yes.
You're making your way to the the middle level, the blacksmith first before sleep.
I just go right towards sleep.
Okay. Are you going to the smithy?
can't.
Blacksmith
Well,
has
I was
nothing for me.
I was going to the smithy. I mean, he can go
Okay.
straight to sleep.
Merkesh going to the smithy.
I'm going, continuing on down towards
You're
the
going to the lodging.
Rest.
Rest.
Following Merkesh.
Going to the smithy.
I need to ask everyone where my stuff is, so I'm going to the smithy first as well.
Also,
Kind of
you might
you
need to get
you
So you've got nothing?
I'm literally in like my undershirt right now, which
She's in
I've
just,
also
like-
ripped up to make it look sexier. So
I
And
was
a
not
harper
aware
pin.
of that, so
and my hopper.
Oh, and
I have nothing
panpipes. You
bard
have
size.
some plain
I will
panpipes.
gladly hand you some bard appropriate weaponry.
Yes, but do you have any instruments?
Unless you can play gambling
Oh, I
dice,
had
no.
where I thought I did, but no, that would be.
I give you one of my daggers.
I have a flute.
So it's a regular dagger. There's nothing
All
special
right.
about it. It's just a
Okay,
dagger.
so I have a dagger again.
You still have your voice.
Yes, I do. I still have my voice.
And a small flute.
Oh, excellent. Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
If you need a new flute, hang on. Just crack the one at the end of Theron's. Here we
Just
go.
play the bow. The bow
It's like-
staff.
It's quite
Dude,
dark
what?
and dang.
Party foul, Merkesh.
That's not so easily broken, I'm sure.
So you're now equipped with a small flute,
Small flute,
dagger, your harper pin,
I hop a pin,
and some sexy torn,
sexy
uh,
torn
Sexy torn
undergarments.
basic undergarments.
All right,
Okay.
so we head on
Do
over
I
to
have
the
shoes
smithy.
at all?
I probably have a shirt you can make into a
You're
dress.
barefoot.
I am
you have been-
barefoot.
Yeah.
I
Wonderful.
probably have a shirt you can make into a dress.
Great. We need to find some
We'll
small
worry about that in a
shoes.
minute.
Okay.
Do we have
Merkesh,
collar?
as you make your way down and around through the swaths of slaves who are going about their busy work,
Keeping my eyes open to see if I see any half-orc kids.
yeah, roll an investigation check for me.
That is investigation, which means it's a investigation +3, which is 16.
Okay. You don't see anything familiar at the moment, but you're intent on making your way towards the blacksmith, resigned to continue this investigation further. But what you do notice is that among the slaves there seem to be varying degrees of whatever affliction seems to be common amongst them. There are those who are broken, cracked, hair falling out in clumps, eyes dead white and just looking straight ahead, barely husks of humanoids, to ones who are more fresh, look a little bit more timid, and they're trepidatiously going about their orders as labor masters crack whips in the air to keep them in their cadence. As you make your way back up to the middle riser and towards what's known as the the dark iron bellows. A round tempered clay dome sits in the center of the buttress and sports a large groaning bellows that heaves and sighs. The roar and the glow of the endless flame reaches out through the archway and the windowed holes in the building. It's a massive hollowed out room about 120 feet in circumference and about 60 feet high in the center. The heat in this dome is overwhelming, and the bulk of the work seems to be focused on repairing wagons and ore carts. Long shafts of black steel and the occasional armor or weapon repair for the village's armory are tended to here as well. In the middle, you hear a clink, 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 the droning twang of a hammer against stone against blade as you see a large orc working the bellows and forging this piece of red-hot black iron. He seems mindless as well. He's covered in sweat. What little black hair he has is just matted to his skin as he continues to pound on the iron.
All three of us are there, so we're walking in the door. We saw this guy pounding on iron. I walk over to what he's doing. Can I garner what he's trying to do with the piece of metal he's hammering?
As you approach, he looks up. It just looks like a long shaft that he's pounding into a flat. Looks like the early work of either a rail or a brace or something to be bound. It could be a blade, or it could even be
Is the metal
banding
cooling,
for-
or does it seem
for
to be
a
hot?
barrel. It's red hot right now.
Okay.
Yeah. He looks up and he turns to you. Yes.
Lord Dalkin sent us. We're to deal with the wither blight problem, and we need provisions, armaments, and armor that we're prepared for such an eventuality.
Slar's workers to serve.
Does anyone?
What is your desire?
Oh.
Armor.
He nods. He goes to a small chest in the corner. It has a heavy lid as he drops it back. You hear him rustling around in the chest, shifting mail plates,
Studded leather.
and he pulls out a small shirt of chain.
I would grab the. How small? When you say small, small Gina size.
Medium sized.
So on Gina it would be large.
A dress.
A little large.
I take the chain shirt and I say thank you, orc.
He nods.
Do you have a name?
His brow furrows for a moment and he looks up at you but through you.
Slar
Slar.
is master blacksmith.
We can see that works.
My will is to serve.
Oh. All right. Well, you don't have to serve. You don't need to serve us. We need some things.
Do you
He's-
have
he's-
armor that would fit her size? Not too
slowly-
heavy.
They're not really heavy. I'm not that.
He slowly turns and lumbers back to the chest. Lifts out a breastplate that is almost child-sized.
Oh.
Maybe better than nothing.
Sure. Sure. Thank you, Slar.
And boots.
Yes, I need some I need some feet things. Oh, it's okay. I don't need
Slarg,
them.
where would we get boots?
Weavery. Tailors make boots. Slar makes greaves.
Greaves.
Armor
And
for
armor.
battle.
All right. Do you,
Protect the drow, who protect the commune.
oh dear.
When we bust out this place, we're setting this one free.
Yes, I think.
He waits a moment and then starts to turn back to the anvil and forge.
Do we need anything else?
Unless they have weapons
He hears you and looks
specifically
over
to
his
kill
shoulder.
dragons. Thank you, Slark.
Weapons.
Oh.
Under he pulls a large iron drawer from beneath the anvil.
I light up like a kid in a candy
The clanking of metal. He looks at you, Merkesh, and he pulls 2 daggers and sets them on the anvil.
Weapons. For Dalkren's guardians.
Oh no, we're not.
So I would like to take both of those daggers
He nods at you.
and test them for balance. How we looking here?
They are very well made. They seem to drink in the darkness around you, and they are very well crafted. Light. The right heft in the handle. The blade seems to make its own light out of darkness in an odd way.
So the dagger that's left in my boot comes out of my boot, and these 2 daggers go in.
He looks around.
How
give the
else
one
may
that's not back
Slar serve?
So, what was that?
How can Slark serve?
Oh. Well, I mean, I have some daggers. So, do you have a sword, like a rapier? Just
He reaches into the box and produces a rapier and lays it on the anvil.
excellent. Is it like similar to the one I had before?
As you lift it, heft it, it seems to embody the same quality as the daggers. It seems to drink in darkness, and you see a small, soft white light just glint to the tip as you wave it around in the air.
This is
Slar
nice.
bows and
Thank,
steps back to the anvil.
thank you, Slar.
You do very good work.
Oh,
Okay.
I.
I'd like to leave.
I'm assuming yes. Me too. So would I. I don't want to watch this anymore. It's remind me of what my mother looked like.
We make our way out of the blacksmith and head on over to the travelers.
The tailor.
Ranquess and Faerun. As
We could go to the tailor.
I need to go to the tailor.
just hold that thought. As they split off towards the blacksmith, you guys make your way down and see the same, just this pitiful existence of these slaves. All different races, shapes, sizes they work around. And you see a couple of armored drow. Two of them are clad in this wrap with a large right shoulder pad and a red strip that just goes around the whole torso, and they're whipping into the air, and they're yelling something guttural in a language that you don't understand unless you speak Undercommon.
I don't like the look of that, but we'll come back to it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm in no condition to resist right now.
As you step through the swath and into this common area that this tent city that's been created, the tent village extends into much of the mire that you see created by the moisture from the falls, as we said. It meets the arid soil and the ash and creates like almost a vaporous like smoke in the air. Not visible, but it feels like your breathing is a little bit more belabored. There are about 40 tents here in total, just leaning, ramshackle, very rough-hewn, and they're stacked against each other, or amongst each other, rather. A tapestry of various races, ages, and genders make up the slave population here, and it's a difficult sight to bear. Most seem barely on the brink of collapsing from fatigue, disease, or worse, and their eyes have that vacant white look set on whatever task the drow masters have set them to.
Are there any that look more coherent than others?
There are a couple that look like they haven't quite been taken by this condition, but they are intent on every time they look away or they stray from their duty, whoosh, the labor masters are there with a quick whip crack to keep them aligned.
Let's just report to the taskmaster.
We continue on our way
All right, where are you heading?
to rest.
How are you going to find your rest?
I thought we were being shown where to rest.
The only ones down here who look like they're from the commune that aren't slaves are the taskmasters, the labor masters, and these drow, who seem to be corralling the slaves.
Then I go to one of the taskmasters. I tell him that his name Drakon?
Dalton.
Dalkin sent us.
Kinda
We are to
squints at
report
you.
here to rest, and then we are to deal with your dragon problem.
He just looks you up and down and kind of nods. He snaps and makes eyes with two of the other taskmasters, letting them know that he's stepping away, and he just waves you on. And he takes you to these clay, they're like almost like mulch clay hovels with a rough archway, just like a tent entrance. There's enough room for about 3 medium-sized in each to lie comfortably. Well, as comfortable as you can imagine. In the mire, otherwise nothing else in the in these rough, murky structures.
Before I start my rest, I would like to just spend a little bit of time looking at the bracelet that I got
Okay,
back when we were in Elventry.
sure.
Because it is onyx, and there's onyx all around, to see if it's reacting to anything in this vicinity. And
It doesn't, but your mind takes you back to some of the work you did when you were fencing, trying to fence the goods, sell them to merchants who are in trade landing. And as you recall, you gauge whether or not you would prefer to keep it. It is quite an attractive bauble, or sell it at around the 150 gold mark that your best appraisal would net you.
I would like to keep it.
All right.
So I start my rest.
Sounds good.
And I will also assume a position of rest.
As you lay down in the mire, it begins to collect around your body, soaking ever slightly through your clothing as the sound of whip cracking and the groaning of slaves lulls you into sleep. The rest of you, as you leave the blacksmith, you overlook the slave assembly and the service march, which is what these areas are called. This large, long tent in the center is the slave assembly. This is the service march, and this is known as the Great Wheel. This area here is known as the Plunge, and the whole area is called the Water Run Fallow. Sorry, the Water Run Causeway. So the Water Run Fallow is the pool area where you see a lot of slaves collecting water and bringing it into this area as the wheel continues to churn into this structure here.
So we were off looking for the tailor
Nice.
Okay.
/ leather worker.
Yes, before.
Gotcha. Okay. As you turn back, you see there are textiles hanging out here on a variety of racks and a small closed door. So you open and enter. You see a slight, thin drow woman. Her skin is soft and hanging with age. Her eyes are sullen, not white the same way that most of the others that the slaves are, but more with age, like cataracts. As she raises her head as your entry. Surface dwellers, enter.
We're guests of Lord Dalkin, and we've come to fetch a few provisions. My small friend here needs a complete outfit, complete with boots.
You wouldn't have gotten anything recently, would you? Perhaps given to you?
Fashion is very important.
Very
Only
important.
what we make, dear. She addresses you in broken common, but she does stand up and size you up. On Dalcran's business,
Yes.
I would not want to upset the patron. She takes a small string with marked notches on the length of it, begins to measure you.
It's like a dress and boots.
I think I can accommodate you somewhat. She pulls you inside the desk towards the back. She fits you with a pair of silk slippers. And she helps you get into this relatively plain wrap, this silk cloth, with purple runes along the trim.
All right.
And to finish it, she wraps it with a sheer white dressing that holds everything in place and ties it in the back. As you twirl, you kind of feel lighter in it, a little more agile, and it looks quite nice on you as well before you suddenly snap back into the reality of where you are and why you're here, before you allow yourself to become too consumed with the finery that she fits you with. That should see you safely through Dalgren's business. Thank you for your patronage.
Yes.
Good
That
night.
almost concludes our business here.
She goes back behind the desk and sits. Yes?
I also require one of the whips I've seen the taskmasters using.
Are you a taskmaster?
There's no telling what tasks for Lord Dalkin will have us do. And I don't think you'd like to inquire.
Oh, I think that wouldn't be up to me either way. I think you would have to go through the training and become a taskmaster to procure one of those whips. But good luck. You know where they are. Good night.
Thank you. And we make our way out of there and head back down towards the laborers' rest.
Yes.
As you make your way down, you see the same sights, the pitiful existence of the slaves going about their business. They don't seem to slow down at all, despite their broken, hobbling forms and the obvious fatigue that's overwhelmed most of them.
We don't know where we're going.
We have no idea.
Okay, yeah. So taking a page from a playbook that I didn't get to read, I would like to gesture to one of these taskmasters.
The same one rolls his eyes and saunters over to you.
2 of our friends from the surface would have come through here.
He just points at the hovels.
And on the orders of Lord Dalkin, I'll need your whip.
He
If
just
you disagree,
furrows.
take it up with Lord Dalkin. He told me to collect a whip from one of the taskmasters.
What are you speaking to him in?
Elven. Did it speak Elven?
He just points at the hovels.
Switch to common.
And he turns
Undercommon.
around.
Damn it.
Goes back to corralling
It was a good try.
his slaves.
I appreciate the
How would I know he didn't speak English? Okay.
Make common.
We common.
Or Elvish.
Yes, common or Elvish. Or broken Orcish.
English.
Yes. So we are going to join our companions.
Okay.
The 2 ladies will take one of the tents to themselves, and I'll squeeze in with these gentlemen.
Okay. All right. As you find your way into the hovel, split the space, and again, the odd lullaby of pain, woe, and anguish and uncertainty that permeates this area begins to lull you into sleep.
I will now sing a light 10-minute tune to everyone as we sleep, just to get that extra 7 temporary hit points for when we're all feeling better.
I'm finding it right.
Well, you're all taking a long rest now, right?
Yes, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, you're doing leadership?
Yeah, inspiring leader.
Okay. How long does it last?
Temporary hit points only last until a long rest is achieved.
Yeah.
So if we do it before the long rest, we lose it.
All right.
So do
I'll
it
wait
after the long rest, then we get it.
Yeah, all right.
Gotcha. All right.
So I'll wake you all up.
And with and with that, we're gonna take a very quick break
We're
as
good.
your eyes blink open into the same wet coldness. Again, no notice of whether it's day, night, what hour of the day you're entering. All you know is that you've slept, you've rested, and you've now awoken to almost exactly the same tapestry that saw you into slumber in the beginning. But Tamasin, as you sit up and you
Waiting for it.
realize that you awaken with a start, your breath is catching in your throat.
Oh no.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Which dice? This dice.
As the very,
Oh,
as
6.
the mere modicum of light that's entering from
We're
these
sharing
lit
it.
globes
Sharing
and the
it.
flames that illuminate the slave area so that the mixed races that can still see can. You see green smoke entering your hovel, choking you.
Do I-
Impossible to draw breath. The air is sickly, acidic. It burns your throat, your lungs. You gasp for air, struggle to your knees, until eventually you draw sharp, ragged breaths, and the vision of this acidic smoke is gone. You awaken
Do I
to
hear that?
Tamasin gasping for breath on her hands and knees in the muck.
Are you
of
all
the
right?
hovel.
What's wrong?
Oh, just my brain doing its brain thing.
Which would be what?
Well, you know the visions with the thing. I saw.
So what's-
smoke? Poisonous smoke. I think. I don't know. I should probably tell you something.
Okay.
I don't have a very good connection to Saloon down here at all.
Oh.
I have no idea whether that came from her or
Oh.
where that came from.
Okay.
But I saw it.
All right.
It's gone now.
And you're okay.
I think
You
so.
were gasping.
Well, it felt very real. They always
They
feel
all-
very
yes,
real.
So it seems they always do. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out for gas.
I guess.
Our-
Do dragons breathe gas?
I don't. I mean,
don't know.
I've
I've never run
encountered
into
so
one
many
before.
dragons before. All right. I have. I'm sorry. I really haven't.
Oh,
I'm
I mean, it's fine. I haven't either.
Yes.
Dragons are not really in my purview.
I mean, I think I've heard other bards speak of black dragons and burning, but I mean, that's what dragons do. They burn.
yeah.
All right.
All right, should we go get the boys?
Yeah, let's get the men.
All right.
Ranquess, as you blink
Refer to you
awake,
as the boy.
begin to lean up on your arm. You're awoken to the steady sound of a. And as you look over your feet as you sit up, you see a figure at the foot, at the opening of your hovel, digging in the clay. It's a woman. Her hair is tangled, messy, and she's draped in the wet, tattered robes of ancient Hillsfar nobility.
What are you doing?
As you look closer, she's digging with an apparatus that looks like a fork and a spoon. As the visage of your mother turns her head, tilts up at you, and you're met with the gaunt face of a ghast. Worms crawling through her eyes, her teeth begin to fall out as you look at her. She begins to crawl towards you with the spork deep in the muck and mire. As she grasps towards you and as her hands reach your legs, the vision's gone.
I turn back and I wake up
I think just
these two gentlemen.
Okay.
I would have already been up. I wake up early to go do the forms.
This place is doing strange things to our minds. I suggest we don't spend too long down here.
I agree. I felt that.
What the hell are you guys talking about?
You'll see.
Okay. Did they tell us where to get food?
No.
And
Do
we
we
haven't
still have
seen
our
any-
packs?
Yeah, I mean, I still have the rations, like the dried meat and stuff we got from Elventry.
Yeah.
We're not. I don't even think we've seen you guys yet. So.
Yeah, we're not even there yet.
I would have woken up slightly earlier and gone outside to practice my martial forms as I do every single time we rest.
Okay. As you begin to work with your blades, some of the taskmasters just call down a couple of drow from the stairwell and they make their way down. They don't really accost you, but they're certainly keeping a close eye on you. You notice at this point that there have always been at least one or two drow guards either shifting in and out of the shadows with their eyes trained on you, watching your every move, watching your motions, seeing who you interact with and how. You see the same tapestry that, as I mentioned, guided you into slumber. Slaves going about their business. A couple of them seem to be coming and going from this long tent at this early-ish hour, at least early in your waking. Beyond that, much the same.
That's it. Just a bunch of breathing exercises combined with going through the forms with the rapier and the short sword, and then switching to the daggers.
You see a slight, lean-looking drow approach you from the middle riser down the steps this way. And he is wrapped in white and black bands, and he has a black scarf that covers his mouth. As he approaches you, he speaks to you in a language you don't understand. Suntaksula.
Common.
He nods. Yes, of course, common. He says, my name is Rio. And I have been ordered, assigned, if you will, to guide you when you are ready.
I give him a nod as I'm not stopping going through the current form that I'm doing. I nod at him to acknowledge that I heard him and continue, going, waiting for... I'm like, we're going to wait for my companions.
I think we're outside by now.
Yeah.
He nods at you too and hangs for a moment watching you go through your movements. And
Did
then
anyone notice any potions or other sort of supplies?
you see
we
him
could get?
Didn't even ask.
slink back into the darkness and disappear into the shadows.
It was Rio. Okay.
We didn't get to visit the provisions yesterday. Last night.
I don't need provisions.
I could use potions
I mean, that's an idea.
if that is.
So if you guys are all
available to
coming
us.
out of the tents, I'm like right there.
Yeah.
We've been out of the tent for a little bit.
So we're all
Um,
there.
Should we want to tell them or not?
No, we'll tell them.
All right.
Presumably, yeah, go ahead.
We just
I
was
had a bit of a moment.
yes. Tamasin had another vision.
Did we die this time?
No. Well,
Did you die this time?
I mean, I
just sounded
basically
like she
die every
was.
time. It was nauseous green gas.
Do black dragons do nauseous green gas? I don't really
I don't know.
I skipped
Were we all
Dragon Day at
were we
Friends
all
School.
suffering from this green gas?
It seemed to just be me. It seemed to just be coming into our tent. But as I told Chyna, my connection with my goddess is not very strong here. And the problem with me is that she sends me things, but so can other things. And when I'm not connected with her, and I really am barely right now, I couldn't tell you how accurate or helpful anything I see down here is. But I do feel I should tell you, just in case.
We'll stay at the ready then.
Now that we've gathered, I would, I raise my voice after putting my weapons away, and I call out for Rio.
Wait, I'm not ready to depart yet.
No, but Rio's going to tell us where we can go to get the provisions you're looking for.
As you call out, before you turn around, you see the white hair, black mask, Rio standing beside you. Are you ready then?
One quick stop at the apothecary, and then we're ready.
I await.
Where's the apothecary?
He just nods towards the mid-level of the family buttress. Says no apothecary to speak of, but there's a tavern if your poisons can be found there.
I might be able to get something there.
You can check.
Maybe. All right, so let's, you said tavern.
To the pub.
To the pub.
Just want to ask him quickly. You seem knowledgeable.
He's gone.
He's all right.
Pub.
All right, so we're going to the pub.
Pub.
Which usually I'd be very excited about, but for some reason I'm just not feeling it right now.
But I wonder why.
Eh.
Could it be your undead mother?
Yeah, let's maybe not refer to her as an
I mean,
undead.
Harsh.
that from the not being with the dead.
Right.
I spoke wrong. I don't think
Okay.
before I open my mouth.
Right,
sometimes.
yes.
I'm sorry.
All right, well, you just had a weird vision. I'll forgive you.
I'm not myself.
Right. Let's go.
Let's go.
As you make your way towards the only spirit house that seems to exist in this commune, you are greeted at the funnel web water down. This is the funnel web water down, which you seem to have found on the map. Good. We'll call that accurate, an accurate representation.
Yeah.
The only one with a hanging sign.
Yeah.
And the funnel web water down, it's on the border. It's on the border where the family buttress overlooks the water run causeway and the labor encampments down below. Slaves are not tolerated on this level of the commune, which provides an escape for the noblemen and noblemen and women of the city Hona and their higher levels of business management, as well as a few military leaders and devotees of Loth, the Spider Queen. They ensure that the Spider Queen's blessing is over their operation. Inside, the walls are flat and cold. However, this is one of the few structures that is perpetually lit with soft, glowing white lights in the far corners. A handful of banquet-style solid stone tables and chairs fan out in the common room. As you look now, you can see there are 2 or 3 drow guards in the same elaborate plate, sharing spirits with one another, laughing. As you enter, they stop dead. They just look at you calculatingly.
I'll stride over to the bartender.
As you walk over to the bar, you now see, barely peeking over the top, the same broken, decrepit woman that you experienced in the great halls that resonated so closely with Chyna. As Laruvial Little Knight goes about busy work, cleaning the bar. She stops as you approach her, and she just looks almost straight into the center of your chest, where her eyes are level. One of the drow yells something.
Don't, please.
Lord Delkin has sent us on a mission.
Delcrin?
Okay,
Del-
no,
Del- sorry.
don't speak to her like that.
Dusarak Kinchata. They laugh amongst each other. And he raises his hand. Laruvial, as you're talking to her in this automatronic movement, leaves the bar, pulls a small flagon of wine, carries it over to their table, and drops it. And as she begins to walk away, he spits on her back. Unknowingly, she begins to walk back behind the bar.
I go up to them.
As she starts making her way towards them, I place a hand on Smalls and said, "Let it go, Smalls. This is not the time."
They just kind of look away from you and go back to their wine.
Would you
But
have
if you
any-
want me to cut them to pieces, say the word and we can all die in this cave in the Underdark.
We're going to get her out.
We're gonna get her.
I don't even know what's left of her.
Well, if we get her to the surface, I can take a look. But right now, I can't.
What do you do?
I would.
She returns to the
I'm
bar.
requesting potions, please.
Continues to look
All right,
here.
let me talk to her then.
She just stands and looks
I'm
blankly
trying to
at
be
you.
as dispassionate as possible. I understand this is a very difficult situation, but we need supplies to be able to do what we need to do.
I'll
and come
ask
back and free
her. I'll ask her for supplies then.
You don't seem
Very
to see
well.
anything that would represent what you're looking for other than spirits.
Yeah, I don't think
drinks.
they're gonna have healing potions for us here.
I
And
just know that
as you
sometimes
ask, she
if you're
just
dealing
looks dead square into your center. Yeah.
I can't. I just look at her. Mom, I promise you, we'll be back for you. We'll not leave you here.
She goes back to polishing the bar.
I leave.
I'll follow.
Alright. On the way out the door, once again, I raised my voice and said, "Rio, now we're ready."
All right, then. You hear the voice behind you as he's leaning against against the framework of the door.
Rio.
Well then, let's go. And he kicks off the door and begins to amble down the stairs and guide you upwards, again through the long walk, up the twisting, treacherous stairwell, through the passage, over the overhang, away from City Hona, and back into the depths of the Underdark. There's not chill here, but you're uncertain if it's actually an effect of the environment or just the darkness playing tricks with you.
I'm gonna hum a tune for 10 minutes as we walk.
You know what?
Do I have 10 minutes?
10 minutes?
Is it gonna take like,
as you walk, yes,
Yes.
you can certainly converse
Excellent.
with your
I'm going
team.
I'm gonna just sing a little song.
How wee little ditty.
7?
Yes, +7, and I'm going to say, don't stop believing, even though we're in the Underdark. Keep your eyes open. It's really dry down here, guys. Like, just it's not working as well as I really like.
They're so dry.
I haven't really had any water.
Rio's leading us, right?
Yes.
So in the lineup of the order, Rio is number 1, Faerun is number 2, I am 3rd,
Why am I number 2?
because we're changing the order. You're first now.
Okay.
Okay. Very well.
And then 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
I'm glad that was a group decision.
Sorry, was that 3, 4, 5?
Yeah. 3, 4, 5.
I'm always in the middle. It's where I go.
As you see,
There's a reason, Faerun. I'll explain it later.
Rio begins to guide you back through this endless labyrinth of purple rock, jagged shale. As you,
God damn it.
it seems it does, but it doesn't. It's even a little muted down here. It barely gives radiance of about 30 feet, 15 feet in diameter.
No oosh.
Rio moves a little bit ahead, so he's out of the light, and you see him kind of skirting to and from stalagmite to rock to shadowed wall to outcropping. Every now and then he holds his hands up, and he comes back to the side, the flank of the party. Points. As he continues to lead you, presumably deeper, into the darkness.
But we can't tell if it's an incline or like
There's
decline.
no way otherwise to really tell.
We
We've,
just walk
we've
in.
been in the same room the whole time.
To know where he's going.
And he stops.
I hope so.
And he halts the party. And he's just staring dead ahead into a bottleneck that looks somewhat natural, but too even to not be somewhat fabricated. And as your eyes adjust to the darkness, you see coursing webs again. Funnel webs interwoven with thick silk strands that obscure the path ahead. You hear in the distance, around you, suddenly, Rio stops. He backs up, and as deft as he's been this whole time, he backs right into you, Merkesh. Drider! He speaks the word. And as soon as the words leave his mouth, you see a mess of white hair throw across your peripheral, skittering upwards behind you. And then slowly, you see the writhing, large abdomen and thorax of a black, glistening spider, but it fuses into the ripped, muscled, gray-black skin of a drow, carving into a ripped chest, shoulders heaving, and jaws that sneer, teeth pointed, as white hair wildly wraps around the face and thorax of this abomination. And the Drider begins to stare at you as he skitters back and forth. And then with a lightning-quick motion, rushes towards the group. Rio is suddenly nowhere to be seen.
Thanks, Rio.
Okay.
And let's bring any one of those encounter maps that we have.
Oh, they're over here. I moved them back there.
So just pull either the chasm or... Yeah, that one's... no, not that one, sorry. There you
Here, join these guys.
go. And let's do some initiative.
Yay!
It's a good thing I'm proficient in that.
Everyone roll your initiatives.
Probably check.
Which terrible die shall we use this time? That's not that terrible.
You know one of your dice isn't actually a die, right? You know one of your dice isn't actually a die. Looks like two of them aren't actually dice.
These technically aren't.
Will this work?
I don't roll them.
Yes, thank
I
you.
rolled these three, and they continually let me down. It's the house.
As the Drider planks its gangly legs and lunges towards the party.
Which side did we come in?
Where are we?
This is going to be our Drider for now.
Where are we?
Yes, yeah, coming through here towards the middle.
It was fine, Merkesh,
And this
me,
guy is right here.
me, Chyna.
That side or this side?
Right here. The Drider's right
I was
here.
middle pack.
Yeah, and you guys are coming in through there. So Merkesh, were you taking point?
You know what? Yes, because
Alright.
I hadn't discussed the party order change with anyone, so we're gonna.
Yeah,
stay with
as you're making your way through, this is the order.
Which one should I use for initiative?
All right, there's an outcropping here that looks over onto the main plateau, and otherwise,
15.
I just rolled the shit.
Not bad. I didn't.
Not bad.
Is there? Is this a student initiative?
Yep.
No, mine is.
Oh, sorry, Markesh rolled 14 for initiative.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Are we rolling for initiative?
16 for no teeth.
Ranquess,
16.
16. Fine.
I'm just hanging out.
11.
11.
Did you do it again?
6.
Samson, 6.
You did do it again. Okay.
Ouch.
I've been rolling really well in
13.
initiative lately. It's not today.
Ranquess leading us, seeing this figure emerge and lunge towards your party, already sensing something coalescing the arcane energies that fuel your power. What do you do?
Firebolt!
All right. You launch a mote of fire over the chasm.
And that is 24 to hit.
That is a hit. As you watch the firebolt trace through the air, illuminating the walls of the cavern, striking the Strider square in the chest.
Go to bed.
I'm going to use 1 sorcery point and re-roll the first one because it was a 1.
Okay.
The second one was an 8, though. And that is a 5, so 14 total damage.
Sorry?
14
14?
damage. Fiery, fiery goodness.
The Drider begins to speak in hissing tones. And its eyes begin to glow an ominous white as it begins to channel Loft's blessing through the Spider Queen's abomination. And Merkesh, Faerun, and Tamasin, make a charisma saving throw for me, please.
7.
5.
Please don't tell me the charisma check crew just failed.
You know
charisma
what?
checks.
I didn't say 7. We're gonna use a luck point.
I'm inspiration. I'm using.
Wait,
my
can I use
inspiration
luck on
that.
saving throws?
Screw it.
Yeah, you can use luck.
Sorry,
on the
DM.
D20 roll.
Is this a charm?
It is not.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
I used
okay,
my
so-
inspiration, and now I'm at a 15.
Good thing for luck. That's 1 point.
8.
Yeah.
8,
Yes.
15.
15,
22 with luck.
22.
Nice.
Fine. As you're
Inspiration.
filled with uncertainty, and you feel your arms become sluggish, things just require a little bit more effort. And anytime you make an attack roll or a saving throw, you have to roll a d4 and subtract that number from the attack roll or saving throw. As you succumb to her Bane spell.
Pain spell?
Bane.
Yeah.
Bane.
Oh,
And
no.
So it's kind of like negative
no.
inspiration with a d4.
I've got that spell.
Me
It's
too.
not
We
nice.
both
As you see Fine struggle to regain his focus. And that will take us to Merkesh.
All right. So this Drider has been hit by fire. Does he look still very healthy, or does he look like really injured?
Hardly phased by Ranquess's arcane flame.
Damn it, Robes. I'm going to draw forth my longbow, and I'm going to fire 2 arrows into this Drider as he advances towards us. First arrow. That is a 26 to hit.
26 is a hit.
The initial volley does 12 points of damage. My first arrow.
Sorry?
12 points of damage with the first arrow.
12 points. Okay.
And the second arrow is only a 15 to hit.
A 15 to hit is a miss. Unfortunately, and that takes us to Chyna. Fine, you're on deck.
All right. I'm going to cast Cloud of Daggers at 3rd level.
Okay.
I rolled 19
At it.
plus 7.
What is it? Cloud of
Cloud of Daggers.
Cloud of Dagger.
At 3rd level.
Okay.
Um,
Now that takes effect after.
no, it's fill the air with spinning daggers in a cube of 5 feet on each side, centered on a point you choose within range.
Right.
60 feet range.
But I think the damage takes place when
When they
it
go-
starts its next turn, right?
Yeah, it's on their turn, right?
Yeah, when it enters the spell's area for the first time or turn or starts its turn there.
It starts its turn there. Okay.
So just
Yep.
to clarify, where would I be able to put, if I put it like right in front of it, that it would move
Any 5-foot square.
Yeah.
around? Okay.
Yeah, so you can put it centered on it in
Yeah.
some way, or you can center it there.
I'd
Right.
like, yeah, I'll do it like, just like right in front of it kind of thing.
In
so
front
it
of
has
it
to
here?
go through it.
It's not really pinned into going
Okay, well
through
then
it.
I'll put it on it so
Okay.
that it
It
starts,
starts
its
its
next
turn.
Okay,
turn
as these
on it.
whirring
I need
spectral
2 more
daggers
D4.
begin to appear in the air. Roll your damage on its turn, though, right?
Yeah. It's when it starts its turn.
It's when it starts its turn in the cloud of daggers.
No, I know. I just okay.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
I could roll it now, but all right.
Well, then I just have to remember,
Yeah,
or you have to
okay.
remember. So,
All right.
all right. But remember that it has to happen. As Chyna begins to summon these whirring spectral daggers, like mini razor blades, blenders, just spinning in the air as the Drider begins to look and. That takes us to Faerun. Tamasin, you're on deck.
You are on deck.
Very well. I will. I withdraw Theron's presence.
Okay.
And I will attempt a ranged attack.
Okay.
That's right. Some TP for this phone call.
Are you moving beforehand? It's 5, 10.
No, I'm
15,
a little
20,
hesitant.
25, 30. So it'll be just out of range and you'll roll
Oh,
with disadvantage.
well, then I will move to within range.
Okay, so.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You just have to move there, just in front of Merkesh, or. Yeah, that's fine too. Yep, go for it. As you release Theron's presence through the dark air, hurtling
That's a
towards
natural
its
20.
target. Or a natural 20. However, you have to roll a d4 and subtract it from the result.
That's right. So I may have already
But you know what? It's a
before-
natural 20
It's a natural
anyway,
20,
so
yeah.
just go ahead and
Oh,
roll your crit.
Very well.
I don't think I'm going to do that to you.
That would be awesome.
I'm
though.
pretty sure like a 20 is a 20 anyway, so
Right.
Double
So that's just the first of my
asshole DM.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
1d8.
We'll double it.
Five.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, it's crit.
So 3,
2 dice. Yep.
7,
And you only add
12.
12.
12. And I will also attempt to stun it.
Okay.
Stunning strike. Stunning strike.
Constitution saving throw.
Fall in. now
Attempt
with
to
more
stun
colorful
it.
action.
What are you using to stun it?
His stunning strike.
No,
is
you
the
just
fifth
need
level
a
monk.
constitution.
Oh, this is
save.
okay. Do you?
I
is
spent
it
a chi point.
Key point. Gotcha.
Yes, key.
Okay.
Are we using key or chi? Key. Key. Thank you.
Yeah, it's spell key, but really, if you prefer chi, I don't care.
No,
it's up
it's
to you.
fine.
So what is it? A save.
Constitution
saving throw.
What's your DC?
No DC. Oh, well, my DC is 11.
Your DC is way higher than 11. What's your wisdom modifier?
It's a 23 anyway.
There's a 1.
You rolled
Okay,
a
so
23.
that'd be 9 plus your
Sorry,
bonus.
it's
It's
2.
12. It's 12. It changed. It was 11. It's now 12 because you went up to 5.
You're right.
Don't forget, you also all have
It's,
7 temporary hit points.
he's-
So those go first.
Her save was a 23.
Oh,
she
okay. So
saved.
okay, that's fine. Second attack.
And the stunning strike costs 1 key point.
Yes.
Yep.
I thought it would be just really neat on a crit. That is. I need a d4. Sorry, thank you. Minus
My
1.
dice are
So
your
it's
dice.
13 plus 5 to hit. 18 to hit.
Sorry.
18 to hit.
18 is a miss. As you're
18. Just want to make sure. 18, 1 8.
18 is a miss.
No, I said
But you have to.
18.
So you move up. You move up for your unarmed strike.
No, for my bonus.
No, didn't you use your unarmed strike?
Yeah,
just
you
now?
used your.
No, I have 2.
Oh no, he has
two
2 attacks.
quarterstaff
Oh right, you have
attacks.
2 quarterstaff attacks.
Yes.
All right, so and
Right,
throwing.
yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were coming up for your unarmed.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
So
go ahead. Yep. So your
1,
bonus.
2.
Yep.
And then my bonus action.
That's right. You guys
I
are like
will-
double attacking now.
Yeah, right. I will hold dodge.
Sorry.
I will take dodge.
That's his
Dodge
bonus
is an action.
Is it an action?
Yeah.
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 I have this written wrong. Then very well. I will do nothing. I will hold.
Okay. All right. As you sit
Well,
tight, and Theron's
thought it
presence
was,
returns to you. And that
I
will
thought it
take
was a
us
bonus
to Tamasin.
I'm going to try to hit her stupidly hard AC
With
a,
what?
Second level guiding bolt.
All right.
That's what.
As it seems trained on Merkesh and Fine now.
Natural
That
20.
is a natural 20.
Natural 20 with a
Level
second level
2
guiding
guiding
bolt.
What can I do here? All right,
my God.
another crit with a guiding bolt.
That is 10 d6.
10d6.
There you go.
It's
Here's
5. on
Second level guiding
yeah.
bolt.
Yeah.
All right,
Somebody
need one
do
more?
What's my-
He needs one more.
10d6.
Oh, I've been waiting for this for so long. Alright. Oh, it's gonna be like all one.
As you reach and beckon hard for Saloon, where are you, my goddess? And you find her power, and she surges through you, coursing white light into your attacker as the Drider reels back from the blast that just
31.
catapults forward for 31 damage. Burning scorch marks, white light illuminating now the full size and merit of this large servant of law. What was the total? 35?
31.
31?
Yes, good dice. Which dice was
Yeah.
that?
Okay. All right, Ranquess.
I'm going to. Yeah, what the hell? I'm going to cast Firebolt again. I'm going to use my Tides of Chaos to gain advantage on it.
Okay.
That is a 26.
That's a hit.
Using another point to re-roll the 1.
Okay.
That's more like it. So 14 points of fiery damage.
14 points of fire.
When is
I've
it
used 2, yeah.
turns? After Ranquess or after Merkesh?
I have 5.
All right.
Drider
Drider. Frustrated.
Wait!
Oh, yes.
Daggers!
Yes. Way to go, Steph.
So were you
Good
acting,
call.
Tamasin?
Yes, I'm last. In initiative.
In case you forgot, Mr. Drider,
15
Chyna said it to
points.
frappe.
What's that?
15.
15.
The dice sharing.
And he takes it again when he moves out of it, right?
It sure does.
As the Drider lunges
I might use it
forward.
again.
So upon leaving the cloud of daggers, he takes it again.
No, it doesn't. It's only when it enters
One per
or
turn.
starts its turn
Yeah,
in.
it is, yeah.
So he lunges
If he
forward
goes
right
back,
here into
Yeah.
this square.
It's still up, though.
There you go. A little bit further. He's going.
Up for a minute.
Or she's lunging right on top of Merkesh.
Okay.
To cover the space here between all of you. And her teeth, her lips bear back these sharp fangs as she lunges towards you. And you see her jowls just reach through the darkness towards you, Merkesh. For a 19.
19 would hit me. It actually does hit me.
Okay. As you feel a burning sensation as her fangs gnash deep into the meat between your chest plate and your collarbone for
I'm going to cast it.
4 piercing damage and 3 poison damage.
No!
As you feel her saliva
All my temporary
burn
hit points.
and sear your flesh. What's that?
I said, oh no, all my temporary hit points are gone.
And she leans back as her long black arachnid legs claw at the air and produces a black gleaming short sword careening down towards you for a 20.
20 hits?
Daddy. I hope that was a dirty 20.
I'm assuming it was.
There's
With
lots
both
of
hands clasping them tight as she brings it down towards you
jerk driver.
for 9 damage.
Okay.
Vicious slash and then back up for 10. That's a 10.
10 does not hit me.
As you reel back and you see the second one coming as she whiffs into the air,
Wait, did she
hissing
just,
at you.
did she just miss me with a melee attack?
She did.
I would like to expend a superiority die to riposte, please.
All right. Do so.
Not that one trick pony.
Okay, yeah, I missed. That's a. I have my bow out anyway.
Okay. As you jockey blade for blade,
Whack.
trying to get vantage,
not
but
doing it.
her legs are moving too quickly, and that takes us to Merkesh. It is your turn.
Okay, so I'm going to put my bow away and
Okay.
draw out my sword and one of these black shiny daggers. And I'm going to attack it with my rapier. With my first rapier attack,
Okay.
which is a natural 1.
Okay. That's
So
a
that
miss.
does not hit. I'm not using luck on that one. And the second rapier attack, which is 19 to hit.
That's a hit.
And that one does 4 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And then my offhand attack with the dagger.
Is this the new dagger?
This is the new dagger.
It is a +1 dagger.
Okay. And that makes that 16 to hit.
16 is a miss. As your dagger finds this chitinous, rough exterior, but doesn't manage to penetrate enough to do damage.
That's it. That's my turn.
Okay, that takes us to Chyna.
All right. I'm going to cast Bane on her.
Okay.
So she has to make a charisma saving throw.
Right. That is a 21.
Yep.
Okay. Scratch Bane from your inventory, please.
I did. Well, I mean, yeah.
Bonus action or movement?
I would like. No, I think that's an action, isn't it?
But you just realized that you can.
What?
No, can
No,
you?
no, no. I was thought I was one. I think True Strike's a cantrip, but it's an action, so I can't do that.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Movement? No. Good.
Wait. Oh, I'm. I forgot about your damn guiding bolt. I had advantage on that strike.
Oh,
you did.
We're 2 turns past.
All right, I'm good. I'm done.
Fine.
It's gone.
Someone
Now
take
the
goddamn
gnashing teeth and
advantage.
gangly stabbing arachnid legs
Very
as
well.
this hideous beast hisses at you. Matted white hair whipping around in frustration, soaked with some blood. This black-green ichor.
All right. I will strike again.
Okay?
Melee with Faerun's presence. 17. Sorry. Oh, wait, sorry. 17 minus 2, 15. What's the bonus to the guidance bolt? Do I also get?
You don't have it. No, it's just
only the
it's
next
just
one.
one
Oh,
attack.
it's
It
only
would have
the
been
next one.
Merkesh, but he
Yeah.
lost
Uh,
it. I
so
forgot.
Which I did roll at advantage, but I used Tides of Chaos.
23 to hit.
23 is a hit.
Thank you. 1d8. So 12 points of damage.
Okay.
Second attack with Faerun's presence. Minus. Oh, that was a 1. 16 to hit.
16 is a
That's
miss. Yeah.
And then the unarmed strike,
Okay.
which is a left jab,
Okay.
is this one. And that is also a miss.
Miss.
Yes.
As your last 2 blows just don't seem to penetrate its
Okay.
chitin.
I'm sorry?
And that takes us to...
And then movement. Sorry.
You're moving?
Yeah.
Yep. To whence?
Run away!
Sam's, you're up.
Okay. I can touch her. She's close enough for me to touch?
Yes, you are
Alright,
in melee
I'm
range.
going to try inflict wounds, first level.
Sorry?
Inflict wounds. That is a 23. Inflict wounds.
For inflict wounds?
Yeah, it's a melee attack.
Okay.
2d10.
I'm just seeing something.
If I am allowed to touch.
Careful when you sit down there. I can hear it.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, what was the
23.
23? Damage? No, sorry, that was your hit.
That was to... No, that was to
It's a
hit.
hit.
That was your
It's
hit, yeah.
3d10s.
Okay, gotcha.
3d10?
3d10 is correct.
What
3d10?
level are you casting at?
1.
What? Okay.
Oh.
10, 16, 18.
Enraged and infused with the awesome godly power of Saloon,
I
you
literally just
you
told all I
fuel.
have no
You
connection
see
with.
Tamasin reach out fearlessly and grasp
mad,
this
but-
hideous beast around the chest, infusing it with white light as it begins to glow and spew
like it, Sam.
through the mouth, illuminating and backlighting the thick, rancid
It's like
fangs
But in reverse.
as you bring her down.
Never touch me like that.
Only the good kind of touching for you, Ranquess. Wait.
Yeah.
And as the sounds
Oh.
of combat feather into the
Ranquess
darkness,
strikes again.
Oh, can we get?
the Drider lays defeated in a pool of thick, stinking black ichor, seeping into the ash and soot, forming its own mire at your feet.
Good
Did
job.
he appear to have anything on him tied around his waist?
You look up and you see
Yeah, it was
Rio
It was.
peering from the darkness.
Wait,
She didn't seem to have anything other than this long sword and a bow strapped around her back.
So she has arrows.
And she does have arrows.
Yoink.
Perfect. As you pick through her stock of arrows, you find 10 serviceable arrows with onyx heads.
Rio,
which
it's so
brings
good
my
to
total
see
up
you.
to 20.
Thanks
The
for
2
sharing
arrows
out.
that I fired, can I recover those or are they gone?
You can recover half.
So I can recover 1.
You can recover 1.
Excellent, thank you.
Spend a few minutes just surveying the battlefield and recovering your projectiles.
I look at Rio and be like, thanks for your help.
Rio is just like completely silent, and he seems frozen behind the rock. What?
You can come out now.
This is one of lost abominations. This is a terrible omen. We mustn't go further.
Well,
Well, she's
we,
dead now.
we have to fulfill our contract.
No. You're on your own.
You can't leave.
I'll go no further.
You can't leave. I put a
Law
dagger to
has
him.
spoken. Roll an intimidation check.
Don't laugh at me. I love that we send the little one to do the
As your dagger bites a small tip into his neck, drawing
really
a bead
doesn't
of
like
blood
it.
down the black blade.
12.
Kill me, or Loth will have my soul It matters not. We can't go further.
Someone else, help me out here.
He starts to back away.
You
and he's
try to
just-
leave and I will kill you.
Doesn't matter. You see this? This is a message from the Spider Queen. We're going to die here anyway.
We have a message of our own for the Spider Queen.
Roll an intimidation check with advantage.
Yeah, sure, this one. That is intimidation. I get pluses. That one's cocked. That one is cocked.
What was it?
Yeah, it was on its side.
That one is not. So 16 plus 6, 22.
Okay. He kind of snaps into you and he sees like the fire roiling around you and Chyna's blade tipped just to the base of his throat. He says, Lord, forgive me. We'll press on. But I will not tarry much further.
Just get us to where we need to be.
Begrudgingly, he begins to resume the trail deeper into the blackness and through
Fine.
to the
Would
other
you
side.
mind taking point? I'd
No,
like to
I
keep
would take
cover
point.
with the bow and arrow.
I figured that's when I saw you draw that weapon. That's where you were going with it.
All right, thank you.
All right, slight change in order.
I'm still squishy though, just let
As,
you know.
as fine takes point. Merkesh taking more of a center stance. Your second.
I think
So
like-
I go second. So Fine's gonna be leading us, doing the scouting thing with his wood elfness.
Okay.
And whenever something bad jumps out, I'm gonna shoot it in the face.
Okay.
So my bow is drawn, an arrow is knocked, and we're proceeding down the tunnel.
All right. And as
In
let me
that
just
same
double check
light,
there.
then I'm basically just holding a firebolt.
Keeping illumination.
I have my
Just keeping
shield out.
illumination
As
so
you
I got
maintain
the firebolt at the ready.
you maintain the burn.
Both as intimidation for our friend and for
Okay.
readying it just in case something jumps out.
Every time the illumination from your flames lick the edges of the darkness where his heels can be seen, he tries to get a little bit ahead. He doesn't seem to be running away, but he seems more intent on using the darkness to his advantage. But before long, as you go through, twisting passage after twisting passage, leaving the funnel webs behind, decorating the cavern that you've just left, you hear, hold up. No, wait. No, I think it's clear. Oh, wait, whoa! Ah! And you hear a slipping, sliding ahead of you and gravel being pushed downward as you stop short of a sliding, deep drop that goes on about a 70-degree angle, sliding off into the darkness. And the last thing you see are tendrils of Rio's white hair sliding into the
I
darkness.
feel like that's something he should have seen.
I would like to listen for a wet thump.
You hear the as gravel spills down after him and stops.
Rio, are you dead?
Rio! Echoes around some cavern below. And after a second, I'm all right. Be careful. I don't know how long the drop was, but it wasn't friendly to me.
I could get down there.
If-
I still have silken rope.
Yes, perhaps we should
Oh,
repel.
good rope. It's my favorite thing.
No,
Well,
you just stay up
help
here,
you.
holding the one end.
Well,
All right, well, just tie it to
Well,
me and I'll
we-
just be the anchor.
is there anything to tie it to?
More than one of
do
you,
have
I'm
to
sure.
go down.
Seems
People.
clear.
Maybe
Yes.
stalagmites or
So
stalactites or...
tie it to him.
Yeah.
There are
as he
definitely
stays up.
outcroppings
Yes.
in the rock.
There's-
Lower
there's
the
place-
fall down,
solid
and then he
structure.
You don't need to
down
hold the rope.
'cause he
There's
doesn't take
places for us
damage.
to tie the rope to.
Excellent.
Good.
So we do that, and I will be the first one down the rope.
Okay. As you, you just tie it around a
Tie around the
stalagmite?
stalactite, and then, go with it from
All right.
there.
As you fashion a solid knot, and we're using the silken rope,
Yeah.
and you begin to just
50 feet?
rappel lightly. It's not a drop. It's
a
like a
nut check.
grade. It's a grade that's about 70 feet. So it's definitely a steep pitch. As your feet kick out gravel, sliding further down, creating a small landslide in the silt and ash as you lower yourself down one by one by one. Make a group acrobatics check, please,
Oh,
with advantage for the assistance of the rope.
with advantage.
I really
Or everyone roll acrobatics, I should say. What's the order going down the rope? Merkesh is
Nice.
first.
I didn't roll a 20.
Fawn
but
is first?
Second.
I didn't roll a
Second.
20, but I got 22.
22. Fine.
Sorry, what is this check?
Acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
Acrobatics. 24.
With advantage. Who's
I
after
generally
Fine?
follow
Natural
them.
20.
You're.
I'm a 9.
Are you after Fine?
Yes.
9. Okay.
I'm last, all right. 18.
18. Oh, and 18. And you
Natural
were.
20.
Are you last? Who's last?
I would be last.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're doing the same order, so
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
always
go
last.
before.
Sorry, natural 20.
Natural 20.
Awesome. Okay.
So you were third. And
Glad
you-
I drew
and you
that
did
out
the
on a rope
Tamasin
check.
thing.
I did the Tamasin thing.
And Tamasin, in typical Tamasin fashion, begins to slip as the weight of her armor is pulling her down the rope as she slides. And you slam into Fine. No.
No, fine.
Yeah, you
'cause I went
slam
down
into
first.
Fine. Fine, make an acrobatics check for me, please.
Sorry.
No worries.
No advantage on this one.
Go, monk, go.
16.
Okay.
Plus what?
As you just managed to catch yourself
That
and,
was
Oh, okay.
and managed to get an arm out for Tamasin to stabilize as well. And you just hold her. You hear the sound of gravel suddenly coming your way and the kicking of stones.
falling down a wall.
As in a brief moment you stop and hold, but you manage to stabilize and make your way down the rest of the rope. Until you reach the end. Almost the full extent of the rope. Just about a half foot pulling on the ground at the bottom of this grade. And you see Rio favoring his ankle, but he says, I think I'm all right. He winces a little bit. And you're back on trail.
Usually that's me.
Yeah,
And here you see,
true.
as the light from Ranquess' illumination and Saloon's blessing of light illuminate the area only slightly, you see the tattered remains of a makeshift lean-to, a shack with old stones built up and a tattered cloth draped over the top. The cloth looks dusty and archaic. It's just set off to the side with a small pit dug out, scorched with flames. Or scorched with what looks to be burn marks, I should
I'll
say.
take a look inside.
It just looks like a small makeshift shelter. It's about 10 feet by 5.
But it doesn't look like it's been used in some time since, it's all dusty. and
Looks
what have
fairly ancient. Roll a nature... Actually, roll an
Investigation?
investigation check for me, please.
Can I help him?
With
Like, if the
advantage.
investigation to search?
Yeah, as you both
Yes,
search
I'm going
the
to help
level.
you, so you roll with advantage.
you. Okay.
Okay.
What is that? 17.
17. You, it looks like, as you feel your way around the hovel and you test the material that's draped over the top, it's so brittle with age it almost breaks off in your hands and crumbles. It's been there for a very long time.
Well, it's-
And now you notice, too, that the scorch marks aren't from fire at all. They look to be burned. And some areas of the soil are bubbling. Or they have marks where bubbles would have popped.
was that
And your
like some
eyes
sort of-
shift up to the walls around this cavern. And you see just dead branches, twigs hanging from crevices created by the rocks. You see gray, slimy foliage that looks like it's just rotted away.
I'm guessing this is not a good sign.
No. Does anyone recognize what sort of damage this is?
No.
I skipped Dragon's Day and Fighter School.
No, but look, vegetation is rotting.
I don't know. Necrotic. Rotting something.
Disease, maybe?
Well, I mean, would it be some Arcana thing? Could you, like, do your mojo?
Green death smoke?
Would I have learned any of this in the
Yeah.
Mage Tower, essentially, when I was in the floating
There's
city?
nothing familiar to anything that you've known.
What about her vision?
It could be poison.
Could
I-
be.
All right. Well,
Either
So
way,
we're
we
planning
shouldn't
to
remain
stay
here.
here.
We
There
shouldn't
are
remain
still
here.
No.
pools bubbling?
No, it looks like bubbles,
Had
like
popped.
bubbles that
Okay,
had
so-
popped,
okay. Alright.
creating like
A ring.
round concave
Okay.
So let's
indents in the soil.
let's
and
walk
the-
around
and the
this
ash.
as much as we
Aesthetic
can.
damage, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Try not to step
Try not
in
to
anything.
touch
Well, there's no up yet. I mean, right now we just got down here.
Yeah.
And there's more to the cavern than just the lean-to.
Yeah, and this, from what you can see, that this channel just kind of heads down and dog legs off to the left and down another very slight grade.
Rio, what do you make of this?
I don't know. All I know is we're close.
Well, then, shall we press on?
Rio,
He just
They-
nods and looks at the
they
ground.
told
He
us
starts to
that
move.
this
Yes.
this wither blight was a black dragon. Do you know anything about black dragons?
I know that I choose not to see one today.
How is she old? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Well, you're
Hundreds.
our guide to the lair, so lead on.
Makes a difference.
All right, our business draws to a close, and he begins to slowly saunter on ahead, just keeping to the edge of the light again as well. And as he guides you down through the slight grade, continues to move.
Oh, no, that's actually a good idea. So if we could pause for that for one quick second.
Yeah, sure.
While we're searching the area, Fahen had a great idea to go back up and get his rope in case we may need his rope again. I second that idea.
Okay, make an acrobatics check.
I can't help you. I mean,
Yeah, no one can help you. Well, make it with advantage to get up the rope, since the rope is still tied.
and he falls down.
Yeah, coming
Hands on
down
us.
might be
So
difficult.
that's a 20.
Okay,
Dirty
without
20.
too much difficulty, Fine, hand over hand, pulls himself back up the steep grade, kicking silt and dirt back down. You make it to the top, undo the knot fairly easily, wrap it up in a nice wind, and now you're looking over the crest of this 70-degree pitch.
Yeah, I'll feather fall down.
Okay.
Monks with
As
their
you try to get a
falling.
low center of gravity, at least. Oh, that's right. As well, it's not really a fall though; it's a slide. So.
Okay.
But as you try to get a low center of gravity and ease your way down, almost sliding, make an acrobatics check. Just straight acrobatics, please.
As a dirty 20 again.
Okay. You manage to cut deep grooves with your heels to stabilize yourself. You make your way down, and finally, towards the end, as you guys see, Fine shoveling mounds of dirt ahead of him to kind of slow his descent. And you manage to do so successfully. And as you're resuming with the group now, presumably at the rear guard, the rear of the group as they've gone on just ever so slightly ahead, trying to keep cadence with Rio. What's your passive perception?
My passive perception.
Yep,
is
everybody. I'm
11.
gonna- 16?
How do you
11?
calculate
Oh
that?
wait.
I don't
yeah.
know.
I can't remember.
Fine.
Passive perception 10 plus your wisdom modifier.
Plus your proficiency if you're proficient in perception.
Eight
Wait,
percent.
what?
Okay, so 10 plus wisdom.
Wait, what is this? Then
What's
that's
your-
not right.
Yeah, so it's 10 plus your wisdom.
Yeah.
If you're proficient in perception, you
Yeah, I
also
get
add
the number.
proficiency.
Yep. 17.
17?
Damn,
15?
dude.
Yeah.
16?
What is it? 10?
16?
12.
12?
13.
13.
Wisdom modifier.
Okay.
And then proficiency.
Oh, I do.
So
this
it's
is not
13
right.
plus your wisdom bonus.
Is it?
No.
So just as you are starting to gate along,
Why does it say
you guys are a little bit ahead. Don't worry about it for now, but
No, I
definitely
fixed
sort
it.
out for
I
later.
got it
Okay.
now.
What is it?
It's 14.
Okay, good. Fine. As you are making your way to catch up with the group, you catch something out of the corner of your eye, just about 5 feet ahead, halfway between you and the rest of the group, and you see a flicker of light. It almost looks like, if you see something reflecting light off into the ceiling, and it's just like a little flash of light that comes and goes.
I will investigate.
Okay.
You gonna
Roll
let
an
us know?
investigation check.
Because if it's nothing, then no need to.
Well, we're gonna keep moving.
Yes.
As the group moves along,
That's a 3.
3. You walk over to where the light was, but you don't really look around. Roll a perception check for me.
Oh.
7.
7.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, Merkesh dice over there.
You look, you seem lost. And then after a second, the light comes back, flickering on the ground as if more intently.
Do I recognize
ahead.
if it's like where the light is coming from? Is it in front of me or is it?
You can't tell. It's like
Reflected from-
if somebody took a mirror and was reflecting something on the wall. All you see is the light. You're basically a cat right now.
Yeah.
And and as you pounce on it, so if you move a little bit closer towards it, you see that the light is shimmering around something that's been carved into the ground. It looks like an arrow that's pointing towards the wall.
I called to the rest of the party. Are they within earshot?
Well, you've been
As you
investigating
turn to call the party, you hear it tss, tss, coming from the direction the arrow's pointing in.
Very well. I will pretend like I didn't hear anything and just give up and start to catch up with the rest of the group.
Jesus, fine. I mean, God's fine. As you turn, you see two eyes blink open in the darkness. And quickly, as a familiar figure steps forward.
Yes.
He says, you hear Drin's voice. Fine. Quickly. As he pulls you closer.
I'll go closer.
He says, shh. Discretion, my friend. I'm with Hilrad.
Okay.
We don't have much time. I know you have to keep moving. No one can be alerted to our presence. We managed to make it down shortly after the fall. Hilred has made his way. We managed to track you all the way to the commune. We've been watching. I have to return to him soon. I told him that I would track the party and find out where you're going. I have a pendant that will lead me to him. This is all the information I have right now. I have to get back to him and find out what the wizard decides is our best course of action regarding the politics of our new drow situation.
Very good.
Fine. Is everyone whole? Is everyone all right?
Physically, yes. We can't be down here much longer.
Okay. When the cataclysm happened outside of Ulash, the surface developed teams to try and build scaffolding to get down, but it doesn't look good. They're taking far too long. Hilred was only able to take one of us down. I volunteered. Garrick fought me on it, of course, but since he is the size of a house and wears metal for clothing, I emerged as the best choice. So, this is it, friend. About your business.
Okay.
We'll await you near the commune.
Can I share this with the group?
Very subtly. We cannot be seen down here.
Very well.
You understand?
I do.
We're with you. We're watching.
Very good.
And he submits to the darkness again. Now go. The rest of you notice that Fine is lagged behind a little bit. And your drow guide hasn't really noticed yet. He seems intent on the path ahead and charging forward.
I'm going to drop back to
Tell Rio to
far
halt.
end level.
Halt. We're missing someone.
I'll go find him. Hold on. Hey. What,
Has
are
the
you
darkness taken them? What happened?
Silence. Wait.
How far back am I?
You were about 10 feet back, not too far.
Okay.
You just see Fine again looking at
Yeah.
the wall, looking at the
Fine.
stone wall.
Is this like the last time?
No.
Or is it?
Or is it? I thought I saw something. I think we may be followed,
Okay.
but in a good way. That,
All right.
it was very vague.
Okay, I'll just. You're fine though.
I think I'm fine, yes.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then let's go. Keep
I
up.
hope it was real.
How much
As you make
further?
your way around the dog leg through the silt and ash, the scout begins to twist his head back and forth more aggressively as his eyes dart to and from. He becomes increasingly anxious as his hand unconsciously drifts from his side to his daggers and back to ringing them in a habitual pattern. As your eyes survey the long, dark path that it has opened before you, you notice a thickening dark fog has started to obscure the ground, about a foot deep, creeping over everything in sight. And all natural sounds have ceased at some point in the last few miles of travel. The air that was arid and musty has now taken on a new tone, a sickly, pungent scent of burnt citrus and rot. Underfoot, you see the mire has begun to replace the ash and silt in other parts of this area, and an occasional lazy bubble begins to pop from still standing fluid somewhere to the left, further ahead, and it gurgles from pools of thick slime and small pond formations. You duck as something large and fuzzy swoops past your head, but out of sight before you can train on it. And the walls reflect cracks that seep with gray, dead, and decaying moss continuing throughout this cavernous flora. The scout has clearly reached the edge of his courage as he insists that the rest is up to you. He quietly backs away from the cavern and begins to emerge out of sight.
Of course he does. Guess we're here.
He doesn't even meld the way that he has. He kicks up stone and he stumbles. He says, no, no. And he turns and begins to run back into the darkness the way that you came.
No, he was helpful.
Do we know what we're expecting in there?
Yes.
Oh, we know exactly what we're expecting.
Okay.
So ahead of us, after that, you said there's a marshy, boggy area. Is there like a cave or cavern somewhere that we can see?
Through the darkness, it just seems to split out, fan out. The walls go out into the darkness, and there's a vaulting ceiling cavern with more stalactites hanging down. Something drips next to your foot, but it's not water this time. It sizzles and sears into the ground. Ever
It
so
dropped
slightly.
next to my foot. I do the classic Aliens moment where I look up.
You slowly raise your eyes to the ceiling of the cavern. Roll a perception check for me.
Perception. That is 14 plus 3, 17.
You definitely see something writhing around the ceiling, darting in between through the stalactites, and you see a shimmer of something black slither along the top.
Do we all see it?
I'm looking up and I'm like, guys.
All right. I draw my rapier.
I take my shield out.
A heavy breathing sound
Permeates throughout the area.
Intruders, guests,
Which
welcome playthings. What occasion has brought you to my home?
Are we assuming we're speaking with the dragon known as Witherblight?
Oh god, crazy dragon.
How come you to this name, Witherblight?
Well,
You see something swirling.
we understand that there was a gnome named Marduk paying you tribute. Marduk is no more.
I care little of the creature, Marduk. I demand tribute. Perhaps you have brought me there.
Well, actually, we brought you information. As information is a value unto its own.
Not to me.
The Drow have taken your tribute.
The Drow?
The Drow who are the ones who sent us here to kill you.
Very well.
And as you circle into the cavern, or at least at the mouth of the cavern, from behind you, you hear something large land in the soft silt. As from behind you, between you and the entrance you arrived in, and we'll use this for now. Let's move you guys a little bit in here. Is the hulking form of the black dragon Witherblight as she carves her talons into the thick ash and soot. The large black scaled mass of the dark writhing dragon drops with grace and awe-inspiring elegance that seems impossible given its size and volume. It curls around the bubbling pools of ooze that seem to pop and broil as she circles, and razor-sharp rock of the stalagmites. She dodges them with ease as two saucer-like eyes inquisitively gauge you. They're fashioned of gold flecks and cat-like slits. that blink
Everyone
at you,
likes a catlight slit.
judging, continuing to gauge.
Dirty.
A marked scar cleaves the top to bottom of one of its left orbital, and the mighty beast then rears up, showing the full height of its snaking form, muscled shoulders, and its neck elongated. It surprises you that the voice that echoes through the cavern addresses you in perfect common at this point.
The drow have no purpose. If you do not bring tribute, your purpose is served. You may die.
It seems we have a common enemy in the drow. Perhaps a deal.
The drow have fueled my tribute. The gnome has fueled my tribute. You have offered me nothing.
You have not heard us say.
Sits
You
back
help
on
us
her haunches.
dispatch the drow and free all they've enslaved. We can offer you tribute from above.
Help
Willing
you,
tribute, not tribute stolen.
mortals. What do you offer me now?
What I do when he says, "What do you offer me now?" Merkesh is going to drop to one knee and bow his head and say, "My oath of servitude to you, great dragon. I
And
can reach
you?
places where you cannot."
I look down at the very finely made bracelet that I got through the deal and take it off, and I go, "This is but a mere trinket of what we offer."
Roll me a persuasion check with advantage.
That is a 2.
Not that one.
That is an 18
That's
plus
better.
I get 6, so that is a 24.
She leans in close to eye the trinket and extends a taloned hand. It's almost the size of your torso.
So we have a deal.
Give it here.
I will not hand it over until I hear the words.
This is payment for me to hear your intrepid words.
I give her the trinket.
She eyes it in the palm of her talon. It's almost the size of a couple of her curved, wicked thorns. She throws it over her shoulder. Sorry, she throws it over your shoulders, deeper into the cavern. Ting, ting, ting.
Onto her
You hear it
board.
bounce and ricochet off the sand.
You have earned yourselves one opportunity. Convince me not to feed on you and go seek my recompense from the drow myself.
And her head hangs just high over the group.
I'm going to switch to Orcish. And in
Speak
It's okay.
Draconic. Do you want to tell me what to say?
no, I'm going in
he's
Orcish
trying to be
because no
secretive.
one else speaks Orcish.
Sure.
So in Orcish, I'm going to tell this dragon, and I'm not going to use this voice because I'm speaking Orcish and I don't speak Orcish, that you may bring your anger upon the drow. We can help.
The last who spoke to me in this guttural, foul dialect died in his bed and made it here. Speak to me on
And
my
I'm going to
terms.
step forward and talk to her in Draconic, which I also don't speak, so we'll just pretend I am. And I'm going to say,
Impressive.
"Great lady, we are here to serve you and to give you what you need. We have no interest in treating, that's not a word, with the drow. They are a common enemy and we seek to help you and help ourselves. You would do us a great, great honor to allow us into your service." And then I bow.
Roll a persuasion check with
I
advantage.
still haven't raised my head. Still on one knee.
Those are 250. So, it's 14. I have a -1 degree.
You will all bow before the power of Witherblight.
Yes, I bow.
And a
Like,
toothy
you're
grin
s-
parts
you're-
her
all of you bow
reptilian
right
You're,
now.
scaled
you're
lips.
so pretty. Your scales match my dress.
I bow.
I bow.
How interesting.
Don't look her in the eye.
I require tribute.
She sits back on her haunches.
I pull off.
What will you provide?
I pull off the mail shirt that I was provided by the drow, as well as the silver scimitar that I acquired a while back, and I drop both of those items at my feet.
Garbage.
What if I play you a song that will bring you riches for
I
ages?
have no interest in your diatribes.
But it will bring you.
She walks past you
Opportunity
and
test?
turns. Inhales deeply and says, "Watch." As she shrinks back, you see small globes of light illuminate the ceiling of the cavern, and she sits, her tail whipping, splashing coins. A veritable mountain of glistening
smug.
metals as she settles atop her less than modest hoard. This is tribute. Where is my tribute?
I'm going to put what I have left in gold, which is 65 pieces. It's not great.
I'm not giving this dragon all of our money.
Do you want to die? Because that's the
Well,
other
I'd be
friggin'
dead and I
option.
wouldn't have gold. If you're telling me that we need to give our money, I'll do it.
Wait.
I'm just
Your
saying
gold is
maybe
being held
some
by
of it.
Dalcrin.
Then I suggest you bring it here.
It's a partnership.
You have until my hunger returns.
And when will that be?
Great one.
Okay.
You gotta. I get you want your tribute. That makes sense. But instead, let us think about this. What I propose is we were dispatched by the drow to kill a dragon. You.
What?
That's what the drow ordered us to do.
Oh no.
We have no interest in doing that. None.
I think
So
it
instead,
will be.
what I propose
Yes.
is that
Her eyes
For-
narrow to slits.
you lay low for a short time. We go back to the drow and tell them we are successful and lower their defenses. Then we give you the signal and you attack from without while we attack from within, and then all the drow has
She rakes
is
her
yours.
fingers
And
through
we will
the
bring you
coins.
every piece of gold and jewel that we find. Everyone.
The drow have riches that you know. The tributes they've given you are not complete.
So you issue orders to me.
I didn't catch that.
You issue orders to me.
No.
I issue requests to you.
I grow tired of this banter.
Okay.
I believe the choice will be death.
She raises to her full height,
Yeah, we're done.
draws a deep breath that seems to consume the darkness and all the air in the cavern, and leans low. And that's where we'll end our session for tonight.
And tomorrow, next week, we roll for initiative and die.
She rolled initiative
Does
and,
her breath take a minute?
No.
I'm gonna
takes
I'm
off-
gonna ignore that. As the bubbling viscous liquid in the pools around her begin to pop and churn and broil,
Oh, dear.
and the wind now created in the cavern whips around as you prepare to face whatever Witherblight has in mind for you,
Death.
seemingly undaunted by your attempts to negotiate.
Oh, we worked really hard on
And
that.
I was hoping, I was honestly hoping for the double cross. I really was.
It would have been so good.
And I love how the cleric who's good was all about it.
We write off another
I don't
great
want to
session in the
die
books
In the Underdark.
here on Charisma Check. Thanks, guys. So it's very good angle, interesting angle. I can't say anything else. if it weren't for this dragon's own interests, I think that
My idea would have been
probably
gold.
wasn't a bad idea. Yeah, exactly.
Completely crappy charisma check.
She has like most of my NPCs, they have a hierarchy
I
of
already
needs
knew
and
from the
wants.
start that we were going to try and turn this dragon against the drow. That was my plan going in when we saw all the slaves down
That's
there.
why I
was
said
like,
to him
wise.
outside. I'm like,
Wise and not impossible. Guys, thanks for sticking with us tonight. Thanks for joining us for another amazing session, at least as far as we feel. Charisma check. Hopefully you enjoyed it too. Good night.